Hello everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto series. What if Konoha demands Emperor Naruto? In this story, Naruto world is about to change. Haku is not a girl, Tenten is like a sister, and Neji fall for Ayami. New bonds are formed, secrets are hidden, and Naruto power. It's just the beginning. This is not the Naruto you remember. If you enjoy this video, then please like, share, and do comment. And also check the description to original creator of this story.
Chapter 1. The beginning of the plan. -3 years after the attack. Naru-chan, wake up now, I have my special breakfast meal ready for us. Kushina yelled to her 3-year-old Naruto. As Naruto walks down the stairs groggily, his sun-kissed blonde hair with deep crimson-red streaks can be seen in a more unruly mop than when he tries to comb it. I'm up, Ka-chan, just give me a second, I'm really sleepy still. Naruto yawned out as his eyes were shut tight from the light. When he entered the kitchen he smelled the special breakfast. Homemade ramen with eggs and vegetables as the main course of the delicious meal was special in and of itself. A bowl of cut and whole fruits, mainly apples, strawberries, orange slices, grapes, and blueberries, made up the side dish with some cinnamon toast and fresh orange juice and sweet tea. Naruto was astonished from the sheer amount. His sea blue eyes with violet pupils and bluish-violet area surrounding it, where the white of the eye usually is, looked like mini dinner plates. Ka-chan, how are we gonna eat all this food? Even with my bottomless stomach I couldn't eat this much. We aren't, Blondie. Kushina teased her little son. Did you forget that we are going to a friend of mine's compound and you are going to meet your Kyo, godmother, and Kyofu, godfather, along with welcoming Tsunade Ba-chan and Jiraiya Jiji back from their little travels around Hinokuni? Kushina asked her knuckle-headed Naruto. Oh yeah, I can't believe I forgot that was gonna be today. Well, what are you waiting for? Ka-chan, seal up that food and let's go. Naruto enthusiastically exclaimed while Kushina's sweat dropped at his sudden change to being fully awake. Okay Naru-chan, Kushina said, stressing the chan part too much for Naruto's liking. Stop calling me Chan, Ka-chan. I'm gonna be a kick-ass ninja and being called Chan won't help me. Naruto complained, until he realized he swore in front of his mom, who already had all the food packed. Naruto and Uzumaki, you better watch your mouth and stop that bad habit. Kushina scolded as she chased Naruto with the wooden training sword Jiraiya and Tsunade sent 2 months ago from Tetsu no Kuni for Naruto to start learning Kenjutsu. I'm sorry Ka-chan, Naruto yelled, whimpered after a good hit to the head from Kushina. -10 minutes later on the way to the compound. Where are we going to again, Ka-chan? Naruto asked as his 3-year-old curiosity showed itself for the first time for the day. We are going to the Inuzuka compound. Kushina told him as she was in her henge since most of the village believes that she is dead and she doesn't want them knowing that she is alive before she disappears to Uzu no Kuni. Yay, puppies! Naruto exclaimed in his 3-year-old giddiness while Kushina giggled at her son's silliness. She saw the glares and heard the whispers about her son being the demon he holds and about her being the unlucky caretaker or brainwashed slave. It took all her control to suppress her ki since Naruto is still oblivious to the idiotic villagers. Kushina still remembered one of the worst whispered conversations she ever heard, so far. Flashback. 2 years after the Kyuubi attack, Kushina and a barely able to walk Naruto were at the park close to the Sarutobi compound. As Kushina, in a henge, and Naruto played with Itachi and Ibiki also playing, they were only 13 and 15 respectively. The 3 shinobi heard a small yet disgusting conversation going on. Look at the demon filth playing with those fools. Be quiet, that is Itachi Uchiha and Ibiki Morino. They are both prodigies in their respective fields. I bet that Hokage-sama and they are making it so that the demon scum and that brainwashed bitch trust them and then they will kill that bitch and torture the demon before killing it also. The 2 idiots went on and on while all the while Yamato and Mahozai showed up and paralyzed both. Kakashi then appeared with his Inu Anbu mask on and used a special torture jutsu to electrocute and burn the civilians to the brink of death but stopped right before they died. I will get them set up for you Ibiki, but I'm going to help because no one hurts my Ototo and gets away with it. Kakashi signed to Ibiki in their personal Anbu code. Ibiki nodded showing he understood. The Hokage, Kushina, Kakashi, and the 4 special Anbu were in the torture chamber with the criminals. Naruto meanwhile was with Asuma Sarutobi, Hiruzen's 14-year-old son, who thought of Naruto as a little brother and promised he would keep him safe before the village. For the rest of the night the two fools were tortured by Ibiki and Kakashi with some torture by the guards. Kushina then revealed herself and the two people gasped in shock and soiled themselves. "So you think my Sochi-kun is a demon, huh? I will make you regret saying that." Kushina then proceeded to beat the crap out of them, heal them to where they only have scares and then repeated the process. After the 12th time she healed them she then removed their manhoods and made them swallow it. The next morning they were executed by Chidori and Rasengan courtesy of Kakashi and Jiraiya. Flashback end. Kushina and Naruto showed up at the Inuzuka compound, when, all of a sudden, Naruto was tackled by a big wolf-like dog. "No Kuromaru. Leave little Naru-kun alone right now," said a sweet-sounding voice that also had a hint of wildness to it. "Fine Sume-chan," the now-identified Kuromaru said, with slight disappointment as he couldn't play with the little pup that he finally gets to meet. "Hey Kushi-chan, hey little Naru-kun," Sume says as she sees her best friend and godson. "Hey Sume-chan, say hi Naru-chan," Kushina says. "Hi Sume-san, I'm Naruto Uzumaki and I'm gonna be the greatest and most kick-ass ninja ever," Naruto said, and thought as he introduced himself. "Well you better be so you can protect me, after all I am your Kyo," Sume exclaimed in a childish fashion while she pulled Naruto into a big hug. "Really? Yay, I got an awesome kunoichi Kyo," Naruto exclaimed in a childish fashion. Naruto then gave Sume a big hug and ran inside to meet everyone that was in there. When Naruto got inside the first thing he saw was a young girl, about 2 years older than him, with long dark hair and chocolate brown eyes. Naruto blushed as he saw her. "Wow, she is really pretty. I hope she will be my friend," Naruto thought, not realizing that he has slowly started to develop a crush. Sume sees him blushing and looking at her daughter Hana. "Well Naru-kun, do you like little Hana-chan? She is my daughter so maybe I will introduce you," Sume teased while Kushina set up the breakfast. "What are you talking about Sume-kyo?" Naruto tried to stay calm while Sume teased him. "Oi, Hana-chan come here, I want you to meet Naruto-kun," Sume called to her daughter as Naruto blushed even more, slightly embarrassed and slightly nervous. "Hi Naruto-kun, I'm Hana Inuzuka," Hana said with a little blush as she completely took in Naruto with his black shorts with orange strips on the side and white t-shirt with the rusty orange Uzumaki swirl, blue Senju trident, and purplish yellow Namikaze wave crests all combined into one on the back. "Hi, I am Naruto Uzumaki. It's nice to meet you Hana-chan," Naruto said as both of their blushes deepened. "Why don't you two go play somewhere while we wait for the last couple of guests to show up?" "Okay," both Hana and Naruto said as they ran off, unconsciously grabbing each other's hands. -5 minutes later, Hiyashi Hyuga showed up with his brother, Hizashi, and nephew, Neji. Neji went to where Naruto and Hana were playing while Hiyashi and Hizashi talked with the other adults. They were still waiting for Jiraiya and Tsunade. Shizune was already there since she decided to stay with Kushina and Naruto on his first birthday. Hiyashi then decides to walk over to the kids to introduce himself to Naruto, his godson. With Naruto and Hana were busy playing ninja and just goofing off when they see a kid in a white shirt and tan pants with pure white eyes approach them. "Hi, I am Naruto and this is Hana-chan, what's your name?" Naruto introduced and asked the newcomer. "Hello, I am Neji Hyuga of the Hyuga clan." Neji formally introduced himself. "Would you like to play ninja with us Neji-kun?" Hana asked in a polite tone, standing close to Naruto as he nodded in agreement. "Sure, thanks." Neji beamed with happiness as they started playing, until Hiyashi stopped them. "Hey Neji-kun, care to introduce me to your friends?" Hiyashi asked his nephew. "Sure thing Hiyashi Oji-sama. This is Naruto Uzumaki and Hana Inuzuka," Neji stated as his new friends smiled and said their hellos. "Naruto-kun, that's you? You have grown since I first saw you," Hiyashi said in shock. Then he saw Naruto's confused face. "Oh, I forgot to introduce myself, haha. I am Hiyashi Hyuga, head of the Hyuga clan, and I am also your Kyofu," Hiyashi told Naruto and then embraced him in a big hug. When Naruto was released, he then stood back next to Hana and grabbed her hand, which made her blush a lot. Just then Jiraiya and Tsunade appeared and also gave Naruto a big hug, as he was still holding Hana's hand. "Hey Naru-kun," both Sanin said to their grandson. "Hey Tsunade Ba-chan, Jiraiya Gigi, how was your trip?" Naruto asked his grandparents. "It was excellent, especially the end since we can see you," Tsunade said as she hugged Naruto half to death. Then she realized that Naruto was holding Hana's hand. "Ah, Naru-kun, is this nice little girl your girlfriend?" Tsunade asked as Jiraiya then noticed and asked him the same question. "What are you talking about, Ba-chan, Gigi-kun?" Naruto asked while stuttering the whole time. Both Naruto and Hana sported huge blushes as the adults and Neji laughed. At the table, Naruto sat at the breakfast table with Hana on his right and Neji on his left and the rest of the seats filled by the adults. Everyone talked and chatted until the meal was over, and then Neji and Hana got water balloons ready for when Naruto goes outside. Naruto then walked outside after Sume told him that they wanted to see him outside. Outside behind the compound, Naruto exited the door, and as soon as it shut he was pelted with water balloons on both sides by Hana and Neji. Naruto managed to catch a few and threw them back at Neji and Hana, soaking them. They all laughed until they were sore and laid on the grass together. "Haha, that was a good prank, you two got me," Naruto said after a while, still chuckling. "You should have seen your face, Naru-kun." Hana giggled with Neji chuckling and nodding his head while trying to say, "Yeah," without laughing too much. Then Jiraiya walked out the door with Hiruzen Sarutobi. Both saw the soaked kids and couldn't help but chuckle at them. "Okay Naruto-kun, it looks like you are going to be getting your presents outside since you are all wet." All three of the kids laughed again as they saw their parents come out with shocked expressions, even though the adults were laughing themselves. "Okay Naru-chan, from me and Hiruzen Gigi is a special journal that was your dad's. It also has some of his and mine jutsus and his special notes. He wrote in it since he began the academy and has seals with many things he thought were important. On the very back inside cover are 3 blood seals, one with more journals, one with my special jutsus and other things I stored in there, and the last contains some basic lessons from your father." Kushina told the young boy. The Hokage then decided to tell Naruto a bit more information. "Naruto-kun, this will also tell you the name of your father. You can only tell the people here because it's a secret, and the only people outside here that can know, or already know, are Kakashi, Itachi, Ibiki, Yamato, and Mahozai." "Sure thing Hiruzen Gigi." Naruto opens the journal and falls on his butt in shock at who his father is. "Minato Namikaze, the Yellow Flash and Yondiemi Hokage, my hero is my dad?" Naruto exclaims while extremely happy. Naruto knows about his burden already but decide that it doesn't matter since he is like a great ninja already for keeping the village safe. Naruto fell on his butt in shock while shaking from joy. His eyes watered with tears of joy as he looked at the Hokage monument and swore to himself and his dad that he would become even greater than Minato was. As this was going on, Hana walked up and gave Naruto a hug and Neji gave him a fist pump in his trying to be cool Hyuga style. "Naruto, come here, I got your present set up and so does Tsunade-chan," Jiraiya said as he pulled off 2 huge scrolls from his back, 2 wrapped up books, and Tsunade pulled out a medium-sized scroll which, unknown to Naruto, the bigger of the 2 was the Gamma summoning scroll and the other was a giant set of Fuinjutsu paper scroll. The books were a full set of Fuinjutsu for novice, intermediate level users and Jiraiya's very first book, The Gutsy Ninja. Meanwhile, Tsunade's scroll contained books on chakra control and medical chakra along with medical herbs and a little greenhouse to keep plants when on travels. "Whoa, Gigi, Ba-chan, is that all from me?" Naruto asked in astonishment while Jiraiya and Tsunade laughed while nodding yes. Naruto ran over almost as fast as the Hiraishin was. Naruto knew that he had to use his little bit of chakra he could access to open it and was shocked by everything. Kushina was also amazed by what Naruto could possibly do when he was older. Neji and the adult Hyugas were amazed by the techniques and Neji decided that Naruto would be his sparring partner while in the academy. Hana on the other hand was already on the verge of asking Naruto if she could also use the medical jutsu books, once he finishes them of course. "Oh my Kami, this is so much. I am definitely going to be the greatest ninja ever." Hey Gigi, does the Gamma contract mean that I can summon Kango and Book at any time? Haha, yes Naru-kun, it does. And you can also summon other toads too, like Gamakichi and Gamatatsu, or even Gamamusha. Yay! Naruto cheered at the fact that he could now summon his first two friends, the Midnight Blue and Dark Pink, Light Purple Healer to be Kengo, and the Crimson Red and Blue Streaked Samurai to be Book. Arrow Jiraiya, will the toads allow Naruto to have more contracts, like the Uzumaki contract, since he is the last heir and everything? Kushina asked, hoping that her son could bring back the powerful allies that only helped the Uzumaki. Yes, they will. I already asked and they were delighted to hear that their old friends will be able to join them in battle once again. And not be against them like the salamander used to be. Jiraiya said, making Naruto even happier. Naruto, being an Uzumaki, Namikaze, and slight Senju, was born with excellent calligraphy and wrote his name in blood on the contract and left his handprint, right next to his dad's signature and mark. Naruto then hugged Tsunade while saying that he would read all the medical books before she got back from her next journey. Shizune and her boyfriend Iruka got Naruto dull practice kunai and shuriken so he could be a good weapons user and not a mediocre class clown with barely passing scores. Sume actually gave Naruto special Inuzuka marks that show that the Inuzuka clan supports him, while also adding the marks that make him Hana's future mate since she could smell their chemistry, but they didn't interfere with his whisker marks. Hana and Neji both gave Naruto taijutsu-style scrolls that their clans don't use anymore. Hiyashi gave Naruto a scroll on many more types of chakra control, and Hizashi gave Naruto a case containing 3 scrolls filled with paper. One scroll was elemental paper, paper used to detect chakra of the normal 5 elements. The second scroll was for Kekkei Genkei elements, and the last was for chakra suppression of all basic types. The first 2 would also show the potency of the chakra based on how heavily they react. Naruto-kun, why don't you try a slip from the first 2 papers out? Asked all the guests. Naruto pushed some chakra into the paper and everyone was amazed by what happened. The paper was split into 5 parts by black and gold lines, indicating he had a strong affinity for whatever showed up. Then first section shredded into trillions of little pieces so fast that it looked like it was instantly vaporized. The second was soaking wet and turned into real water, falling to the ground. The third crinkled up so much that it seemed impossible to undo it. The fourth turned to dirt and the fifth got caught in flames. Naruto had all of the elements and couldn't believe his luck. Water from the Uzumaki, wind and lightning from the Namikaze, earth from the Senju, and fire from the Kitsune inside him. The second paper was even more of a surprise than expected. The paper turned into a crystal vial which filled with lava and had frost forming on top around a plant that was growing from it. Never in anyone's life had they seen something like this. Not even Hiruzen could speak clearly and he was ancient. OOM my K Kami. Is that even possible? Maybe he will be able to rule justly in. Hiruzen started and then mumbled on, being ignored for his incoherent rambling. Everyone else, meanwhile, was still trying to pick their jaws off the floor. Meanwhile Kakashi, Itachi, Ibiki, Yamato, and Mahozai walked in and were wondering what was going on. Why is everyone so shocked and staring at Naruto like he is Kami incarnate? Asked the new arrivals. Shizune just showed them the pictures of everything that happened along with telling them of Naruto's father. They were all shocked by the chakra while only Itachi, Ibiki, and Yamato were surprised by Naruto's father. They then proceeded to give Naruto his presents. Kakashi gave him a list of jutsus, like Kage Bunshin and other kinjutsu that he knew Naruto could handle. Itachi gave Naruto an anti-Sharingan seal to prevent anyone from copying his techniques. Yamato gave Naruto plant seeds and the promise of a scroll for Mokuton when his chakra control is extremely good. Mahozai gave Naruto a scroll of Genjutsu and Ibiki gave Naruto a beginner's guide to interrogation and a cool jacket like his, but with crimson flames and a rusty orange Uzumaki symbol and the other symbols on the inside. 1 year later, Naruto, 4, Neji, 4, and Hana, 6, have all accessed their chakra and practice chakra control every day. Naruto and Hana have slowly been mastering medical jutsu and they have all gone up in their other skills. Naruto and Hana also met Anko who liked to pull pranks just like Naruto. Anko was nervous when they first met since she thought they wouldn't like her because of what Orochimaru did to her. Anko soon realized Naruto and Hana genuinely wanted to be her friend. Anko soon introduced them to Kurenai. Kurenai was able to help them with genjutsu and became a genjutsu master in the making a lot faster thanks to the scrolls Naruto had. Hana then started the Ninja Academy with Anko and Kurenai as her tutors in the academy. Naruto and Neji trained even harder in taijutsu and some basic ninjutsu just to keep up with Hana. Chapter 2. Enter Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto and Neji are now 5 years old. They will be 6 in 1 month for Neji and 2 for Naruto, and are considered many things. Neji is hailed as a Hyuga prodigy while Naruto is called a cheating demon. Both can access their normal chakra already, however, Naruto cannot access anything besides regular chakra. Naruto didn't care though, as it was partially explained in his father's journal. Flashback. A just-turned 5-year-old Naruto was sitting in the Sarutobi clan library reading Minato's third journal. This journal contained the most information on Minato learning to access his chakra and the beginning steps of accessing his crystal style. AN. Can someone PM me the Japanese translation for all the known styles? Thanks. Naruto was amazed to learn that his dad never accessed his wind chakra until he started his 6th month of training with Jiraiya and could only really use it once he got Jonin level reserves and control. But even then it took a while to learn how to utilize it and keep it flowing. The lightning chakra came even later. In fact, it was the day that he saved Kushina from Kumo that he accessed it. This was about a year and a half of training with Jiraiya. And it all happened because he forced his body to go faster, which unlocked it and made his body faster with the electricity. Crystal chakra was even harder than those two combined. It happened in one of the earlier battles of the Third Shinobi War in which he lost his student Obito. Kakashi lost his eye and gained Obito's Sharingan, and Rin started dating Kakashi. They were all worn out and Minato pushed himself to his limit, trying to gather more strength and grieving for his student's death. Minato couldn't even find Obito's body and nearly broke down, but was barely able to keep calm and set up camp for his last 2 students. Naruto was so amazed at those facts that he wasn't even concerned with using elemental chakra until he had Jiraiya and Kakashi train him with tutoring from Iruka. Naruto kept reading about his father's life and was able to see how he became so great. After finishing the journal, Naruto resealed it and summoned Fukasaku to ask him a question about the 3 summoning scrolls, as his mother was out on a small mission. Book and Kango instantly appeared to learn with Naruto. Book now uses 2 Nodashi and Kango carries a pouch of the finest medical ointments and medicines that come close to rivaling beginner slugs. All 3, Naruto, Book, and Koga, wore Uzumaki swirl marked, on the back, trench coats with the Senju trident on the sleeves and the Namikaze waves on the hood crashing together at the top. Naruto's custom-made trench coat has a hood as it helps him with hiding and looking kick-ass. Flashback end. Naruto and Neji are currently practicing in chakra control with Kunai and Shuriken floating. Neji, can you tell me if I am using too much or too little chakra? My Kunai and Shuriken keep falling or getting launched away. Naruto asked his best guy friend. Sure thing, Naruto. Yeah, you are using too much on the Shuriken and too little on the Kunai. Tweak them both by about 2% and you should be good. Neji told his true friend. Neji and his dad Hizashi are main house Hyuga, as Hiyashi didn't kill the Kumo ninja, he simply paralyzed him permanently. Neji was so happy that he decided to practice even harder to become the best Byakugan wielder. Neji would always challenge Naruto to a taijutsu round twice a day whenever they practiced, once before as a warm-up and once after as a cool-down and to push their bodies to the extreme. Naruto and Neji have also met Kiba, Hana's little brother, and they introduced Hinata to them. Kiba and Hinata seemed to become best friends almost instantly as the 3 bigger kids decided to have a one-on-one taijutsu match with only taijutsu allowed. Naruto, having his limitless stamina, easily lasted through the fight, efficiently dodging and countering while striking when a good chance is available. Hana, with her heightened senses and instincts, was able to judge when the other 2 would make a move and when to dodge, counter. Neji, however, had the upper hand with his formally trained style of the gentle fist. Throughout the course of the 30-minute fight, they all got beat on pretty badly. Hana-chan, did you have to hit me square in the jaw that hard? Naruto said slowly. Sorry Naruto-kun here, let me heal you. Hana apologized. When you get done with that, can you guys help me? Neji asked in pain as he got ganged up on towards the end of the fight. Sure thing Neji, both Hana and Naruto said as they walked over. -5 minutes later and back in the Inuzuka compound. Naruto was looking around trying to find the right spices to make the delicious beef ramen that Tuchi and Ayame taught him how to make. It was also packed with protein and essential vitamins and minerals. Where is the... There it is. Naruto said as he found the last ingredient and started to cook. Naruto, why did you learn to cook? Neji asked as he never found out why. Because he wants to impress me, Ka-san, and Kushina-sama. Hana teased as Naruto tried to stutter out a reasonable retort. That night, Naruto stayed over at the Inuzuka compound and slept in the living room close to the fireplace with his arms around Hana and her arms around him, like they fell asleep hugging. Sume walked into the living room to check on Naruto and sees them and gains a big smile. He, perfect blackmail for the two of them. But they also look very cute together. Maybe I should ask Kushi-chan to help arrange a marriage proposal for the two of them. Sume thought as she took multiple pictures of them, some for each of the adults that personally knew Naruto. A couple minutes later both Hana and Naruto wake up and realize the way they were sleeping. Neither of them tried to make an effort to move but just stay there blushing. Naruto's blush deepened even more as Hana decided to snuggle closer to him and fall back asleep. Naruto eventually fell asleep, but with a grin and a big blush that lasted till morning. Time skipped 3 months. Naruto and Neji have been in the Ninja Academy for a month now and they are bored out of their minds. Both of them already know this thanks to Anko, Kurenai, Yugo, and Hana. Sume, Hiyashi, and Kushina also helped by making sure they studied, but the now Chunin Anko, Kurenai, and Yugo and the almost genin Hana provided better information to help them. Naruto and Neji both realized that their current sensei is, in simple terms, a bastard. They found this out when they put the same answers for every question and Naruto got a failing grade while Neji got a perfect grade. Time skip summary for the year. Naruto and Neji made friends with Rock Lee and Tenten only. The others treated Naruto poorly because of their parents and some ignored Neji due to him being a clan heir and the only one in their class. They practiced throwing weapons and the basic academy jutsu non-stop. Naruto got good at both and so did Neji, but Naruto was slightly a bit better at target practice and Neji was better at the academy jutsu. Tenten however was better than them both combined and helped them get even better. Meanwhile, Rock Lee was the strongest taijutsu user they ever faced. Whenever the class had a competition in kunai and shuriken throwing, Naruto's would always suddenly go off course and his movements in taijutsu would become slow and groggy. Neji soon discovered that their sensei was using basic wind chakra manipulation to push the kunai and shuriken off course and placed seals on Naruto to mess up his movements. Naruto's grades were so badly messed with that he was forced to repeat this year and the Hokage could not intervene without looking prejudice, and he had also had his free time taken up by 2 plans, the Uzu plan and a plan for the council and how the village is run. Kushina has left to go to Uzu no Kuni and repair it with Tsunade while Jiraiya goes there occasionally to help. She left 2 months before the current academy year would be up and decided to leave Naruto a gift and special persuasive techniques for both Kakashi and Hiruzen. Kushina's gift was one of the Uzumaki summoning scrolls being unsealed for Naruto to use while the others still required Naruto to improve his Fuinjutsu efficiency. The contract itself amazed Naruto to no end because it was the Walrus contract, a contract previously thought lost since the First Shinobi War. The Walrus summoning contract was the iconic summons of the Uzumaki marine-based Shinobi Corps. The persuasive techniques were quite useful as well. For Kakashi it was to burn his Icha paradise and for Hiruzen it was to hold back the secret of beating paperwork. Naruto gathered Kakashi and Hiruzen in the Hokage's office and asked them to teach him how to do the Kage Bunshin. They tried to say he was too young to learn it, until he used his ultimate persuasive techniques. They both quickly caved as they knew he would have a toad quickly tell Kushina who would pulverize them. Naruto learned the Kage Bunshin in just over 6 hours. After Naruto learned it and found out he could make 10 max, he sent 5 to do medical ninjutsu chakra training, 3 to read his father's journals again and 2 to read books on forging weapons. Naruto then revealed that the secret to beating paperwork is Kage Bunshin itself. Naruto then signed the walrus contract and summoned a walrus to gain approval, which he quickly earned. Naruto of course failed, so he is kept back and is now in Hinata's and Kiba's class. Time skip to the new year. Naruto has arrived early to meet his new teachers, Iruka Amino and Mizuki. Oi, Iruka ni, you are my teacher? Naruto asked as he saw one of his precious people that is also in a relationship with his adopted sister Shizune. Yeah, Naruto-kun, I am. Iruka smiled while scratching his head. Fucking demon and demon lover, I hope I get to kill them eventually. Mizuki thought sinisterly. Naruto, can I talk with you for a minute in private? Iruka asked the hyperactive blonde. Sure Iruka ni, can you shunshin us to the Hokage monument? Naruto asked, knowing that no one will disturb them there. Iruka, already knowing he means the top of the Yondayame's head, smiled and nodded, teleporting them to said location. So, what is it you needed to talk about, Nisan? Naruto asked. Well, could I have your permission to ask Shizune-chan to, marry me? Iruka asked nervously. Even though he already got permission from Tsunade, he still wanted the whole family's approval, and Naruto is the last one he needed to ask. Hell, yes Iruka Amino ni, you can marry Shizune. Naruto started to exclaim in joy but reined himself in and said it in a very calm manner until he ended and hugged Iruka in extreme joy. Really? Thank you Naruto, thank you. Iruka exclaimed as he hugged Naruto back. Iruka teleported them both back once they calmed down and got ready for class. Back in the classroom, only Hinata and Kiba are in the room as they knew Naruto would be early and they wanted to sit with their true friend and big brother figure. Iruka and Naruto reappeared in the classroom with Naruto jumping over to Hinata and Kiba in the third row back, sitting in between them. As Mizuki was gathering the students in front of the school and Naruto, Hinata, and Kiba were talking, Iruka felt something in his pocket. What's this? A note from Naruto? Iruka ni, I need you to be the only sensei that touches my papers so they won't get messed with, and can you also try to supervise anything whenever Mizuki is around me? I feel hatred rolling off him at times and it is directed towards me. Naruto. Sure thing Naru-kun. Iruka read the note and decided to answer Naruto now before the others arrived. No problem Ototo. Iruka said just loud enough for Naruto to hear. Naruto then mouthed a thank you to Iruka with a big smile on his face. -5 minutes later, all the students got in the classroom and went through introductions, just their names, a hobby or two, and any dream they might have for the future. Time for introductions. Naruto, since you are the oldest, why don't you go first? Iruka said in more of an order than a question. Okay sure Iruka-sensei. My name is Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki. Naruto said and thought. My hobbies include gardening, training, and being with friends. My dreams, to bring back the Uzumaki clan and protect all my precious people. Naruto said proudly while a certain student snorted at him thinking he is lame. You, arrogant ass, why don't you go next? Naruto questioned in a superior tone. Why not, but after this I want a discussion in front of this class. Said the aforementioned student. My name is Sasuke Uchiha and I am the second heir of the Uchiha clan. My hobbies include training in the Uchiha clan jutsu and techniques. My dream is to surpass both my father and brother and make the Uchiha clan even greater. Sasuke said arrogantly while some of the already turned fangirls proclaimed the greatness of their Sasuke-kun. Okay now continue on students, Mizuki said, annoyed with the students already. Shino Aburame. I like studying bugs. My dream is to be an efficient clan head. Choji Akamichi. I like food, preparing new recipes, and training. My dream is to be a great clan head and chef. Sakura Haruno. I like hanging with friends, being around a certain someone, and reading. I want to be a proficient ninja and hopefully retire young and get married. Hinata Hyuga. I like studying medicine, training, and making medicine. I want to be a great clan head and unite both branches of the Hyuga clan. Kiba Inuzuka. I like training, and helping Hinata-chan find the herbs she needs. I want to be a great alpha. Kopi Kedwin. I like clay sculptures and making friends. I want to increase my clan's prestige and honor. Shikamaru Nara. I like sleeping and cloud watching. I want to be a decent clan head. Ino Yamanaka. I like gardening, meeting friends, and learning my clan jutsu. I want to be a great clan head or unite my clan with my possible husband's clan if it is the better option. An. Skipped all the cannon fodder people who will barely be seen. Okay, now that we have all been introduced, let's have a sparring match. Final winner faces Naruto since he is a year older. Match 1. Shino vs Kiba. Winner. Shino. Match 2. Choji vs Shikamaru. Winner. Choji, by forfeit. Match 3. Hinata vs Kopi. Winner. Hinata. Match 4. Sakura vs Ino. Winner. Ino. Match 5. Sasuke vs Cannon Fodder 1. Winner. Sasuke. Match 6. Cannon Fodder 2 vs Cannon Fodder 3. Double knockout. Okay, we will take a break to learn some history, then we will have an early lunch and then continue the next round. Then a lesson on the ninja arts for a bit and the last few rounds and finals right after that. Iruka said. Naruto and Shikamaru fell asleep, both already knowing the history because of their respective mothers. Wake up Naruto and Shikamaru, Iruka exclaimed to the sleeping boys. Everyone then ate lunch and got ready for the next round. Match 1. Shino vs Choji. Winner. Shino. Match 2. Hinata vs Ino. Tie. Both ran out of energy but stayed conscious. Match 3. Sasuke vs Cannon Fodder 4. Winner. Sasuke. Okay, so we have 2 more rounds and then the finalist faces Naruto. Time for ninja arts study time, Iruka said to the students. Naruto has been doing physical workouts, only taking a break to personally watch Hinata and Ino fight. He had a cage bunch and watch the others. Naruto and Shikamaru fell asleep again, although Naruto had 2 cage bunch and pay attention to class so he could still learn. Alright, time to finish the tournament, Mizuki declared as Iruka put his teacher's book away. Kiba, Hinata, Ino, Choji. Naruto called out lazily. You guys have done great. You should feel proud of yourselves. Naruto complimented with Ino blushing and stammering out a thank you to the blonde boy. Thanks Naruto-san, Choji said after a few handfuls of extra barbecue chips. Just call me Naruto, okay Choji? I hate formalities, Naruto informed the Akamichi. Thanks Naruto-ni, Kiba and Hinata said to him. Naruto just smiled a big foxy smile which made them all feel good. Shikamaru was sleeping under a tree now. Naruto made a cage bunch to watch the competitions as he does more physical workouts, but this time Kiba and Choji join him and Shikamaru eventually does also. Ino and Hinata were watching them while chatting about everything. So Hinata-chan, do you know if Naruto is single? Ino asked her new best friend. I am not sure Ino-chan. I think he is going to be dating Kiba's sister once he is a genin. Hinata replied. Oh, Ino sighed dejectedly. Looks like I am going to be training even harder and maybe catch Naruto's eye, or see if Kiba's sister wants to share. Sounds like a plan Ino-chan. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we start our own little herb garden so we can make medicine during breaks and Naruto can also help? Hinata suggested. Sounds terrific, Hina-chan. Ino exclaimed while hugging Hinata. Match 1. Shino vs Cannon Fodder 5. Winner. Shino. Match. Sasuke vs Cannon Fodder 6. Winner. Sasuke. Finals. Shino vs Sasuke. Shino and Sasuke were standing 10 feet apart in the academy training grounds ready for the signal to begin. Hajime, called Mizuki as Iruka was watching Naruto and his slowly growing group of friends. Shino's bugs were swarming around him as some formed a shield and spear. Meanwhile, Sasuke dropped into the Uchiha Taijutsu style, even though he has not unlocked his Sharingan. Shino threw his bug spear which Sasuke tried to counter with a small Gukaku jutsu which just dispersed the spear, only killing a few bugs. The bugs then latched on the Sasuke and started to drain his chakra. Sasuke eventually got them off by flaring his chakra with minor fire chakra in it. Shino and Sasuke then engaged in some taijutsu. Shino then punched Sasuke in the jaw while releasing a smoke bomb to blind him. It had the reverse effect however as Sasuke then sprinted extremely fast and nailed Shino in the gut, knocking him out. Okay, now we will give Sasuke some time to rest before fighting Naruto. Mizuki said as he hoped for Sasuke to cripple Naruto. Mizuki even gave Sasuke a chakra pill to take right before the match. Hajime, Iruka yelled for the final fight to begin. Sasuke threw 2 smoke bombs on the ground and swallowed the chakra pill, giving him a big boost. Sasuke then channeled chakra to his legs to make himself faster and went to punch Naruto in the jaw with a simultaneous kick to his groin. Naruto caught both, which shocked the hell out of Sasuke. Naruto flipped Sasuke over his shoulder and face first into the ground. Naruto then made a quick Fuinjutsu tag to cancel Sasuke's chakra, which was extremely effective. Naruto also released 1/5 of the weight on his body and sped forward, drop-kicking Sasuke. Sasuke was sent flying out of bonds and was knocked out. Arrogant asshole, Naruto muttered, but all of Sasuke's fangirls screamed at him, hurting his ears. Naruto then released all the weight on his body and sprinted to a safe distance and reapplied his weight. Thanked Kami for Fuinjutsu resistance seals and weight seals. Naruto thought, as he didn't have to carry any bulky weights. Ino, Hinata, Kiba, Choji, Shikamaru, and a now conscious Shino went to congratulate him on his quick win. Naruto, how did you gain such speed? Choji asked. He released his weights. Kiba answered. What weights? Shikamaru asked. Fuinjutsu weights, they are very handy and I just finished learning how to make them. Naruto answered. Really, can I get some? The whole group asked. Naruto decided it was okay and put 10 pounds on each limb for everyone, except Kiba, who got 20 on both arms and 30 on both legs. Why did I get so much? Kiba whined. Cause you want to be the best in your clan, so you need more to get ahead faster, mud. Naruto retorted in a calm manner. Naruto, could you help us make a medical herb and flowers garden here? Hinata and Ino asked together. Sure thing, Hinata Imoto and Ino-chan. Naruto replied with a happy smile. Sasuke was fuming as he overheard everything and thought 3 things. I have to get to Sand to teach me more and place weight seals on me. I also should try to convince one of those girls that are around Naruto to be with me and help me make the clan greater. The next day, weekend with no classes. Naruto held a scroll filled with gardening supplies and was waiting for Ino and Hinata, who soon appeared. They were both carrying bags of seeds and some organic fertilizer from Ino's parents' shop. Hey Naruto-kun, Ino called to her fellow blonde. Hey Ino-chan, Hinata-chan, Naruto said with a soft smile as he undid his sealing scroll, thus releasing shovels, rakes, clippers, 3 watering pails, and some pots for windowsill plants. Whoa, both Hinata and Ino gasped at all the equipment. The trio of gardeners spent the next 2.5 hours digging rows to plant the seeds while mixing in the fertilizer and filling the pots that are on the windowsills. Then they took a break to eat some of Naruto's homemade dango and pork stew. Naruto, where did you learn to cook? Ino asked. I learned from Sume Kyo, Hiyashi Kyofu, my caretaker, and Hokage Jiji. Naruto answered after finishing a stick of dango. Naruto ni, do you happen to have any of your homemade cinnamon buns, red bean paste, or chocolate fudge? Hinata asked, knowing that those are some of the best desserts he makes. Ino perked up at the mention of homemade red bean paste. Actually, I have 2 plates of cinnamon buns, 1 pot of red bean paste, and 4 trays of fudge. Naruto said as he unsealed all the desserts and gave everyone a plate with some of each. Ino then tasted the red bean paste and started drooling at how good it was. Naruto-kun, may I have the recipe for the red bean paste? Ino asked after they finished as much as they could, and Naruto resealed the reset and gave it to Hinata for her to take to the orphanage so they could have more food while he and Ino waited for her. Sorry Ino-chan, but it is a family recipe. But I could make you a big pot full every other week like I do for Hinata and the cinnamon buns. Naruto said with a small sincere smile. Oh, well that works too, Ino smiled. -10 minutes later, Ino and Naruto spent time talking and getting along even better and becoming best friends. Hinata returned, but Kiba and Hana also were with her. Hana-chan, Naruto exclaimed as he hopped up and ran over and hugged her as she hugged him, and they shared a very quick kiss as they have been doing for the past year. So we're here to help you guys with this academy garden. Kiba stated proudly as he gave Hinata a small hug and Ino a warm smile. Hi, I am Hana Inazuka, Kiba's older sister. You are Ino Yamanaka, right? Hana asked with a warm and slightly feral smile with a mischievous glint in her eyes. Yep, I am Ino Yamanaka, nice to meet you Hana, Ino said without formalities, knowing it will just bug the Inazuka thanks to Kiba telling her yesterday. Well, Ino-chan, come talk to me in private for a second. Hana said with a now mischievous smile and eye glint. Ino nodded yes and followed her to the other side of the ninja academy. So Ino-chan, you like my Naru-kun? Hana asked calmly. Yes, I do. Ino replied nervously. Well, I will tell you a secret that my mom Sume, the clan head of the Inuzukas, told me and that your dad could have told you too. What do you mean? Well, first off, Inuzukas allow for men to have multiple mates but usually no more than 2 or 3 and one is usually the alpha, which is me by the way. Naruto is also the last of his clan but can claim his rights until the council is reorganized, which will happen soon by both the Hokage and Ninja Council, Hana said. Really? Ino asked shocked. Yep, replied Hana with a big smile. -20 minutes later, Hana and Ino return with Ino blushing like crazy when she looked at Naruto. The group then spent 3 hours planting the seeds in all the rows and pots. When they finished, Naruto decided to ask them out to a group party. Guys, go back home and grab your swim gear and I will grab Choji, Shino and Shikamaru. Then we will meet back here. I will gonna take you all to a little clearing that is behind the Hokage monument. Naruto said with a tired smile. -45 minutes later. Naruto, Shino, and Shikamaru met everyone else at the academy when Kakashi appeared with his girlfriend Suikazura Sukiakara. They walked over to the base of the Hokage monument where they met Iruka Amino and his girlfriend Shizune. The whole group except for Shizune knew that Iruka was going to propose to her in front of the waterfall. Iruka, Shizune, Kakashi, and Suikazura shunshined the group to the edge of the clearing and were amazed when they saw Naruto clones already setting up and cooking dinner. Wow, Naru-kun, already ahead of schedule. Hana said as she hugged Naruto. Hee, yeah, I guess so. Just wanted everything to be ready for this great day. Naruto said with a big grin as he rubbed the back of his head. Let's all go swimming. Choji, Naruto, and Kiba yelled before sprinting to the top of the waterfall and diving in. Shikamaru pulled out a little raft and laid down on it with 2 water guns for whoever tries to disturb him. Shino sat on the beach letting his Kakaichu bugs roam free and reads a book on insects. Hana, Ino, and Hinata jumped in and swam towards the guys and all were having a good time. Kakashi and Suikazura were on a little raft making out while Iruka and Shizune were using their water chakra to splash each other and anyone that they can reach. Once they all tired out a bit, they went to the table after drying off. They all ate the steaks, baked sweet potatoes, and crab stew. Then for dessert, they had cinnamon bun sundaes with hot fudge. Ino also had some of Naruto's red bean paste that is now her favorite. Naru Ototo, why did you go all out for this? Shizune asked. Because I felt like it. Naruto replied. Hey, let's dance, everybody, Iruka suggested. Yeah, sounds good, some said. Naruto made a shadow clone to dance with Ino while he decided to dance with Hana on the shore where the waves were crashing. Hinata and Kiba danced in the grass and flowers. Kakashi took Suikazura onto the water to dance and Iruka took Shizune to in front of the waterfall to dance. Shino, Shikamaru, and Choji were surprised when the girls from their respective clans that they liked, or in Shikamaru's case a shadow clone of his mom, as the girls are too troublesome. Choji was dancing with Hisui Akamichi and Shino was dancing with Queen Aburame. An. Hisui is like an Akamichi version of Ino and Hinata mixed together. Queen is like Samui and Shizune mixed together. Suikazura is like Sume mixed with Kurenai. Shikamaru dispelled his mother's shadow clone and went to set up cameras while everyone made room for Iruka and Shizune, who were in their own little world. Iruka suddenly stopped and dropped down to one knee. Shizune-chan, will you do me the honor of becoming my wife? Iruka asked nervously. Yes, I will, Iruka. Shizune squealed in excitement as she was finally getting married to the man she loves. All of a sudden a dozen or so cameras go off catching all of the exchange. Congrats! Everyone yelled and gave the new a big group hug. It is now the year before graduation year for Naruto and his class, while it is graduation year for his generation. Naruto has spent his time doing pranks to work on his trap making and practicing his fuinjutsu, ninjutsu, medical jutsu, and kenjutsu and taijutsu katas. The pranks and physical workouts have been done by Naruto himself while he had Kage Bunshin work on the jutsus and studying the katas. Fuinjutsu was practiced by the clones and perfected by the original. Naruto's personal summons from the Gamma contract, Book and Kengo, were almost always around him and helped in training. Naruto even summoned the boss of the Walrus contract and got a personal summon for them too. Flashback. 2 years after first failing the academy, Naruto has finally gotten even better at summoning and has finally been able to summon large summons and eventually worked his way up to boss level. Naruto summoned the Gamma boss Gamabunta, who told Naruto he was proud to see him and that he could summon the boss Walrus tomorrow, but he would be even more drained than now. The next day Naruto was at the waterfall with Book and Kengo, who put special summoning seals there so they can come and go without using Naruto's chakra. Naruto summoned 4 clones to practice chakra control by combining all the techniques he knows and 1 to practice kunai balancing with 1 kunai on each index finger, still learning the basics. Naruto then started the hand signs for the Walrus contract. It was just like the Gamma contracts but had a Tatsu seal and Taurus seal at the end. Kachiyose no Jutsu, Naruto exclaimed as he pumped loads of chakra into the jutsu. There was a humongous poof of smoke that quickly dissipated to reveal a large walrus with 2 scars going vertically down the side of his face just to the right of his right eye and a broken left tusk which was jagged and half as long as his right tusk. Who dares use the Uzumaki clan summons? The Walrus contract only allows the Uzumaki and none of the other filthy vermin that walk this planet. Bellowed a furious walrus that was ready to fight, already reaching for his special side. Excuse me, Mr. Walrus-sama. IIS summoned you. My name is Naruto Nu Uzumaki and I am the heir to the Uzumaki clan. Naruto exclaimed nervously to the giant walrus. Haha, finally, we have an Uzumaki back that can summon us. Good thing I can feel your chakra, otherwise I would have skewered you, young man. The giant walrus laughed. Naruto on the other hand didn't know if he should be happy or angry towards how the big marine mammal was talking to him. Well, what is your name? I need to know the name of the boss summoned for my contract. Naruto yelled, slightly frustrated that he needed to ask. Well, young Naruto-kun, I am Murio Shinjun and I am the boss of the Walrus contract. Also called the Seiuchi contract, even though that is more of an older name that only the elder Uzumaki used for us. Said the now named Murio Shinjun. Amazing, so is there anything I must do to finalize my contract with the Seiuchi clan? Naruto asked. Yes my boy, there is. First off, you are going to have to get a personal summon, so just do the hand seals and let the chakra flow naturally. Murio Shinjun said to the new summoner. Okay, Kachiyose no Jutsu. Naruto exclaimed. Yan, who summoned me? I was sleeping after my latest adventure. Whined a rusty orange and midnight blue walrus about the same size as Naruto with an already scarred flipper and sharp tusks. I did, and I am Naruto Uzumaki and your partner. Naruto said with a warm smile as Book and Kengo appeared and moved forward to see the new companion. Ah, so you summoned little Supai, the troublemaker and self-proclaimed adventurer of the new generation. He will be a good personal summon for you. Now the rest will be revealed later on as you are too young at the moment. Murio Shinjun said. Flashback end. Naruto can now be seen with Book, Kengo, and Supai at any given time as they are almost always with him. Naruto, Book, and Supai all practice Kenjutsu together with Yugo and Hayate all the time, and the 3 beginners are always building up their skills. Naruto and Kengo also practice medical jutsu with Hana, and all 3 are supervised by Shizune, who is helping them become even better. Hana is now a Genin, almost Chunin in another year or 2, and Anko and Kurenai are now high Chunin and most likely Jonin in another year or 2. Naruto, Neji, Ino, and the rest of the gang are still academy students. Naruto, Ino, and Hinata can be found at the academy garden during their free time while at the academy. They even created a little picnic spot in the middle where they hang out with Kiba, Choji, Shino, and Shikamaru when they're eating, studying, or just relaxing. In the center of their garden clearing is a white pine tree that Yamato made from Naruto's little sapling. In other words, it is a full-grown copy of Naruto's sapling tree. Naruto and Choji practice cooking and grilling together, while Kiba tries grilling at times also. Naruto, Shino, and Shikamaru all play shogi together, and everyone would just hang out at the clearing when they want to relax or practice. Naruto has even revealed his heritage to the group and they were stunned to no belief, but they swore to keep his secret until he decides to reveal it. In their training terms, all their weights have gone from 10 pounds on each limb to closer to 100 pounds. Kiba has closer to 120 pounds on his legs and 110 pounds on his arms, but Naruto's weights blow his away. Naruto has around 160 pounds on each limb and even on his torso. The waterfall clearing was placed under Uzumaki property with seals placed by Jiraiya which could move the whole area to Uzu no Kuni when they want. The group also started to call it Fox Falls Clearing due to finding a small family of mischievous but friendly foxes who they all took care of and fed. They even gave them all chakra enhancements, like what the Inuzukas do for their nin dogs. Naruto has also discovered a lost Senju scroll hidden in a cave behind the waterfall when he went to help the foxes with the others getting the Hokage, Sume, and Tsunade who was back for a visit. Flashback. Yip, yap. The gang turned around to see two half-starved and battered kids. They all were saddened and Naruto quickly approached the kids with some meat from the table which the kids eagerly accepted. Hana-chan and Ino-chan go get Tsunade Ba-chan quickly. Neji and Hinata Imoto go get Hokage Gigi now. Kiba Ototo and Choji go get Sume Kyo, hurry. Naruto ordered. What about us? Shikamaru asked as he and Shino were waiting for orders. I need you two to keep these kids safe while I go check behind the waterfall. I can hear a quiet whimper and yelp coming from in there. Naruto said. Sure thing Naruto. Shikamaru and Shino said as they brought food to the kids and Shino also brought some water and bowls for them to drink from. Naruto swam through the waterfall and followed the slowly increasing whimpers and yelps and comes across two full-grown foxes that have their tails stuck under a fallen rock and apparently a broken leg each. Naruto releases his weights and lifts the rock off of them and places it to the side. Naruto then replaces his weights as he picks up the foxes who actually point their noses towards a chest in the back of the cave with a blood seal on it and the Senju trident engraved into it. What is this? Naruto thought as he grabbed the chest with a free hand. Naruto then made two seal-less shadow clones, one to take the chest and the other to weaken the waterfall's pressure as he goes through it. As Naruto made it out he saw Tsunade, Hiruzen and Sume there looking worried as Hana healed the kits with Tsunade guiding her. Naruto smiled as he laid down the foxes by their kits and he helped heal them also. Once they were healed and fed, Naruto walked over to the chest and put his blood on it. The chest slowly opened, revealing an ancient scroll with a combined Senju trident and Uzumaki swirl. There was also a note saying it was a gift between the two clans, from before the Shodaimi's time, and it was a peace treaty saying that the cousin clans would always have each other's backs. The scroll itself was a guide to accessing pure energy for fighting which would not bother with chakra reserves and could be used when the fighter has little to no chakra left in their reserves. The little to no reserves people would have a one-hit chance before chakra exhaustion, but there was also a seal that held things in a timeless storage. They came with a note saying that the seeds would heal any injuries and replenish all energy. To say everyone was amazed beyond belief is an understatement. It is more like they met Kami, or Susanoo, or Yami, or even Shinigami. Naruto took the seeds and decided to plant 4 out of the 20 in his own personal garden in the Sarutobi clan compound. Flashback end. Naruto now always has a bag of 30 or so seeds for eating on him, and the seeds he named Kaseki Kenko, Miracle Health, for its wonderful healing capabilities. Naruto even gave 2 bags, equaling about 200 total seeds to Tsunade for Uzu no Kuni to have a self-sufficient crop and store them before he arrives. Naruto also developed multiple strains of it by adding his chakra, Gamma Nature Chakra, both the healing version from Kengo and the warrior version from Book, and Walrus Nature Chakra. Naruto's chakra made a more potent, or more restored energy and chakra version of the Kaseki Kenko seeds forming version Ibuku's chakra made a strain that increased muscle strength, endurance, stamina, and speed for a certain amount of time producing version 2. Kengo's chakra made a strain that heals the body of all physical ailments except for genetic diseases and also helps jumpstart the chakra coils of people suffering from exhaustion producing version 3. Supai's chakra on the other hand provided a strain that temporarily increases lung capacity, stronger muscles, and the ability to swim as deep and as long as a walrus, thus making version IV. Naruto himself tested each strain and found out you can't mix any of the versions together, but you can combine the original with one of the versions. He also discovered that you shouldn't take more than one of each of the strains a day, but the original is safe to take as long as it is only taken when really exhausted. Naruto also helped Shizune advocate for a med nin class, which Hana also helped support. Hiruzen didn't even argue as he was hoping Shizune or Tsunade would push for it so he could have a teacher for the class right away. Now he has a full-time teacher, a part-time teacher, and a student who also helps teach it. Naruto is proficient at medicine ninjutsu but prefers to make powders, pills, potions, and things of that type. Hana prefers to use the jutsu and knows a little bit about the medications, unless they are veterinary medicines. Shizune is a master, second only to Tsunade, at all med jutsu. Now the village has changed dramatically as Hiruzen grew fiercer and showed less weakness and put the council in its place. Along with cleaning up some loose roots. Flashback around Naruto's 4th year at the academy. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the Sandaime Hokage of Konohagakure, was, for the 1000th time today it seems, rejecting papers that called for the execution or exile of one Naruto Uzumaki. Hiruzen couldn't stand it anymore, so he called a council meeting immediately. Hiruzen told his best Anbu to drag council members here if they take longer than 5 minutes to get ready. Hiruzen also decided to be late by about 15 minutes and promptly told the clan heads that were kind to Naruto to meet him in his office and join him before the council meeting. Now 20 minutes before the meeting is scheduled to start, the Hokage is talking to the clan heads of the Aburame, Akamichi, Hyuga, Inuzuka, Nara, and Yamanaka. The major clan heads, besides the Uchiha, were all nice to Naruto and were being informed of what is going to happen. The plan was going to put the civilian council, the Uchiha, minor clans, and the elders in their places as their only advisors. Hiruzen told them that when they walk in to release all the ki that they want and take their seats, as he tells the council that this meeting is for 3 things. Minus 35 minutes after their meeting in the Hokage's office, Hiruzen and the clan heads walked through the door, leaking tons of ki from each of them. Sarutobi, what is the meaning of this damn meeting? Demanded Kaharu. Utatane complained to her former teammate as Homura Mitokado nodded in agreement as he didn't like being disturbed. Shut the hell up, Kaharu-san, Hiruzen said, obviously angry. What the hell are you grumpy about, Sarutobi? Spat Danzo. Shut up and listen for once, you pig. Growled out Sume as all the good clan heads released ki. This meeting has been called for 3 things. Before I tell you what they are, I will give you one last warning. Any interruptions from any of you will be subdued by the clan heads and or Anbu in whatever way they deem fit. Hiruzen declared, scaring the civilians and weaker ninja with all the ki he was leaking by himself. Now, as I was saying, this meeting has been called for 3 things. First, Naruto Uzumaki. Second, the council itself. Third, some loose roots, Hiruzen said. Just then the civilians started a ruckus, which was promptly stopped by the Anbu holding their respective tanto to a counselor's neck. Naruto Uzumaki is to be left alone and no longer bothered by you fucking retards. Any civilian or ninja who beats Naruto and calls him a demon, or Kyuubi Gaki, shall definitely spend time in Anbu tea and I with Ibiki and his new apprentice, Anko, and they both take it personally when Naruto is harmed. Attempts to take his life equal immediate death and incineration by me, Anbu, and any ninja who stop the beatings. Hiruzen said. The Anbu then cut into a fat civilian's side and let him bleed out slowly. Take that as a warning, as that man was in every single one of Naruto-kun's memories of the beatings. Hiruzen said with his voice colder than ice and scarier than hell on earth. Now onto this Kami damned council. You have too much power and this is a fucking dictatorship. You only advise when I say, jump, you fucking jump. When I say use yourself as a fucking meat shield, you do it. When I say, shut the fuck up, and get lost, you better fucking do it or I will have your voice box removed and your ass thrown out by my summons. If I give an order, the village follows it with no questions asked and you follow it even stricter than that. Now all you Kami damn bastards of the civilian council will no longer show up because you are all removed from office, and your replacements will only meet when I call for them. Also only I will call meetings and give orders, no one else. Elders, this is also the last meeting you will come to unless I ask for you to come. Hiruzen declared. He knew the civilian Haruno clan will always have a member in some type of council, but he can't exile them all or kill them all right now. Now onto the loose roots, Anbu and clan heads surround and detain Danzo as Kakashi and Anbu, codenamed Tenzo, take out these horrible roots on the walls. Inoichi, please go through Danzo's mind and break all mental barriers to see how many root agents he has. Here is and demanded. Hi Hokage-sama, Inoichi Yamanaka said as he went through Danzo's mind and finds out all that he is responsible for. Hokage-sama, Danzo has about 1/3 of the village en route in one way or another. Some from each clan, except the Inuzuka and civilians. He also has the Shodaime's cells in his arm and multiple Sharingan in his arm. He even has Hoku Uchiha's right eye implanted in his head under those bandages. Inoichi revealed, causing Shisui Uchiha, who is one of the last few Uchiha, to use a jutsu to destroy Danzo's implanted Sharingan. Danzo had a suppressor seal placed on him as he was stabbed through the heart, but lives, and taken to Ibiki and Anko for some fun. Shisui broke down after he was gone because he lost almost his whole clan in one night because of Danzo and his root Uchiha and other types of root members. All that is left are him, his girlfriend Katai, Itachi, Itachi's girlfriend Kumori, Sasuke, and a girl 1 year younger than Sasuke named Suiren. They all still remember walking home after the younger ones were being picked up and seeing all these dead, lifeless, cold bodies. Itachi and Sasuke raced right home and saw an Uchiha named Kazan slaying their parents and other Uchiha, along with the root Uchiha. Kazan revealed his Sharingan being an advanced Mangekyo Sharingan, which showed he took his siblings' normal Sharingan. I'm going along the idea that if you replace your Mangekyo with another it becomes eternal, but if it is replaced by a normal it becomes advanced, which means no blindness. Shisui and Itachi swore to rebuild their clan and they all swore to kill Kazan if they ever happened across him. Itachi, Shisui, Katai, and Kumori were filled with so much grief that it unlocked their Mangekyo, which they all preserved a close relative's eyes in case they start going blind. Sasuke and Suiren had unlocked stage 1 of their Sharingan but fainted and have been unable to access their Sharingan for some reason. All root members were being roped up by Kakashi, Yamato, and the Anbu under their command. They captured them alive but suppressed their movements and Jiraiya negated their seals and they became integrated into the Anbu Black Ops Advance Corps. They would be taking on the hardest missions around and perform infiltration, espionage, and sabotage. They would also be going through a program to help recover their emotions when not on duty. End flashback. Naruto, now on his way to his favorite food stand ever, Ichiraku Ramen, to see his adopted family. The Ichiraku family was always close to Naruto and has always treated him. Ayame ne, Tuchi Jiji. Naruto called. Oi, we're here, just getting some ingredients out Naruto-kun. Came Tuchi's voice as he and Ayame were carrying a box of ramen ingredients. Here I'll help, Naruto said as he made 2 kage bunshin to relieve Ayame and Tuchi as he picks up a side and all 3 Narutos carried the box to the front and placed it under the counter. Thanks Naruto-kun, Ni-kun. Tuchi and Ayame said as they were sincerely thankful for the help. Naruto just grinned and hugged them both as Tuchi started making his ramen and Ayame helped, while talking with Naruto. Hey Ayame ne, Tuchi Jiji. I have a AQ question I want to ask you guys. Naruto stated a bit nervously. What is it Gaki? Tuchi asked with a playful little grin. Well I was wondering if why you guys wanted to. J joined the Uzumaki clan? Naruto asked even more nervous. Sure thing Naruto-kun. Tuchi smiled to his surrogate son, grandson figure. Definitely Naruto ni-kun. Ayame grinned overjoyed by the fact that Naruto will actually be her brother. Really? Thank you so much. Okay you two need to come to the Hokage's office after closing time for it to be done. Naruto said with a huge grin threatening to split his face in half. -2 hours later at the Hokage's office. So Naruto-kun, you want Ayame-chan and Tuchi-kun to join your family? Hiruzen asked happily. Absolutely Jiji-sama, Naruto said happily with a mix of formality and informality. Hiruzen Sarutobi proceeded to take out some blood transfusion seals and syringes to put some Namikaze Uzumaki DNA into Ayame and Tuchi. Once 2 syringes were fully filled, the seals were placed onto Ayame and Tuchi above their heart, which was where the needles slightly broke the skin and injected all the good DNA while the bad was destroyed by the seal. Ayame's hair then went from full brunette to brunette with red streaks and blonde tips. Tucci's brown slightly gray hair gained some slight blonde streaks and red tips, but his wasn't as noticeable as Ayame's was. The new family members went to their own apartment for one last time since Naruto and them would pack up everything and move it into the Sarutobi compound. Naruto hasn't gained access to the whereabouts of the Namikaze Uzumaki compound since he hasn't reached a certain level of Fuinjutsu mastership yet. Meanwhile with Kushina, Uzu no Kuni looked like a mess and horrid when she first arrived. Now most of the downed and unusable buildings have been removed. All items have been stored in a special Uzumaki storage scroll, which could hold all of Konoha 3 times over. Kushina found scrolls containing Kenjutsu, Ninjutsu, Taijutsu, Genjutsu, Medical Jutsu, Kinjutsu, and a whole 2 blocks of Fuinjutsu scrolls. She even found old Uzumaki legends, Senju artifacts and even a scroll on the ways to negate the Sharingan. Kushina has slowly been able to rebuild some buildings thanks to Tsunade and Jiraiya and their summons. Kushina also signed both the Slug and Gamma contracts to help her and because both summoning clans wanted her to summon them. Kushina has even read up on the Uzumaki legend of the 5 sages. The 5 sages states that there were 5 members of the Uzumaki clan who excelled at one of the 5 elements each. Everything about a sage represented their element, that is how in tune they were. The Kaiden, an, chakra will be addressed in English while the Jutsu and sages are in Japanese. Sage was fiery, quick to anger, hot-headed, and was easily sent over the edge. The Fuuten sage was swift, quick, calm yet fierce, and cunning, sharp. The Raiden sage was energetic, dynamic, accurate, and destructive. The Doden sage was bulky, slow, sturdy, resilient, and unbelievably strong. The Sweden sage was flexible, agile, calm yet dangerous, and precise. The sages were the elite of the elite in the olden times of the Uzumaki clan. They would only ever answer to the clan head and follow leads they had from spies in other clans and small towns and villages. The 5 sages slowly faded into myth as the Uzumaki clan settled in Uzu no Kuni and made ways to constantly protect Uzu no Kuni. Unfortunately, some enemy ninja got through in the Second Shinobi War. The Sweden sage made the never-ending whirlpools, the Raiden and Fuuten sages made the maelstroms around the island with the biggest and most dangerous lightning in the elemental nations. The Doden sage made the 4 stone guardians that protect the compass points, and the Kaiden sage made the living fire beasts, which became something similar hellhounds. Unfortunately, Kumo and Iwa had somehow found out how to bypass the maelstroms and whirlpools. Then the Iwa troops blocked off the guardians from the people who had to initially start them up. The Kumo troops used their Sweden and Raiden ninjutsu to drench and electrocute the hellhounds. Maybe I will try to start the 5 sages again. Of course I will need to find the best shinobi who have mastery of one of the elements each. Damn it, I would still have to go through that lame process of adopting them into the clan also. Kushina said to herself as she finished reading over the scroll about the 5 sages. What's this? Kushina asked as she saw a summoning seal on the bottom of the scroll. Kushina applied chakra and out popped 5 weapons. The first thing Kushina saw though was a note. All it said was sentient. There was a katana, a scythe, clawed gauntlets, a staff, and retractable wrist blades. The katana was intricately designed with flames. The scythe was designed with wind currents and tornadoes. The clawed gauntlets were designed with rocks and mountains, and the staff was designed with waves and whirlpools. The wrist blades were designed with lightning bolts. Each weapon allowed for improved utilization of the user's elemental chakra. The wrist blades and clawed gauntlets could combine together while the scythe could combine with the staff. The weapons were immediately sent to an area shared by the toads and slugs for safekeeping until they were needed. Kushina has also rebuilt some buildings towards the center of the once great village. Residential areas were built with a small market area. Although there is no one to live there yet, Kushina wanted to build up the future village-sized compound for the future Namikaze Uzumaki clan. Kushina was planning on hiring builders from Wave to build bridges to the connecting islands to allow for more people to live in Uzu no Kuni. Kushina has also contacted the rebels in Kiri who are sending their injured, young, and elderly to a campsite on an island just off of Uzu no Kuni and will hopefully have them join the new Uzushio. Kushina already had the last of the Yuki clan, Haku and Jade, and 2 ex-Kiri ninja, Zabuza Momochi and Utakata. Chapter 4. Graduation and a Visit. Naruto just woke up with a huge grin on his face as today was the day of the graduation exam. It is only 6 in the morning and the academy doesn't start until 8. Naruto has always woken up this early just to go get some of his friends together at the Inuzuka compound before the academy. Naruto made himself a small plate of scrambled eggs, like 1 or 2 eggs, and some bacon, about 2 slices, and a bowl of rice and noodles. Naruto mixed the rice into his breakfast ramen noodles and then mixed in the egg and bacon. While some though it was weird, it was actually delicious. Flashback start. Naruto, Ayame, and Tucci spent a month trying to get the recipe right. They made the noodles a bit thicker, the broth was more seasoned with breakfast spices, and the rice, eggs, and bacon helped add more nutrition and flavor that went well with the broth. Flashback end. Naruto is now approaching the Yamanaka flower shop, as it was the closest to where he lived, just a few feet away from the Sarutobi compound. Knock, knock, knock. Naruto knocked on the front door and was soon greeted by Ino's mom, Momo Yamanaka. "Hi Momo-san, is Ino ready?" Naruto asked politely. "Hi, Naruto-kun. She will be down in about 10 minutes, come on in and have some tea," Momo said to her daughter's crush, ushering him into the living room. "Okay, thanks Momo-san." Naruto smiled as he walked in and took the offered cup of tea. "So Naruto-kun, are you excited for today?" Momo asked, passing time as they waited for Ino. "Yeah, I can't wait. Oh, and I know something very special about Ino," Naruto said with a grin. "What is it Naruto?" Momo asked, her voice etched with curiosity. "Well, Tsunade Ba-chan told me that she is coming back today and she will be officially taking Ino as one of her 2 apprentices and they will be working with me and Jiraiya and Shizune and Hinata for missions, training, and backup for other teams," Naruto said, leaving out the part about the Hokage himself confirming all this and that the Sannin made the Hokage agree to it. "Really? That's amazing." Momo all but squealed and hugged Naruto tight, making him blush. She let go of him soon after though and Ino arrived after the hug. "What's with the squealing Ka-chan?" Ino asked, slightly annoyed. "Just a surprise for when you graduate," Momo said with a knowing smile. "Oh come on, tell me," Ino begged. "Nope, and neither will Naruto-kun. Come on Ino-chan, let's go." "Bye Momo-san," Naruto said and dragged Ino out the door towards the Aburame compound, which was the farthest from the other compounds. Shino was already there waiting for them and greeted them with a nod and a small wave, which they returned. Then they got to the Hyuga compound and met Hinata with a smile and friendly hug. After that, the 4 of them went to the neighboring Akamichi and Nara compounds and got Shikamaru and Choji who were watching the clouds and eating some cereal. "Come on lazy asses," Naruto called jokingly while the current group slightly chuckled at the duo as the Nara heir muttered his favorite saying, "Troublesome," and the Akamichi heir hopped up and continued eating. The group of 6 then got to the Inuzuka compound where Kiba welcomed them into the living room where there was a big plate of bacon, sausage, and egg dumplings. "Come on in guys. Ka-san made enough food for all of us, and we still have about an hour and a half until the academy starts," Kiba said joyously. The whole group went in and they all ate their shares in about half an hour and they were all filled. "Hey, is it alright if I pack the rest up for the foxes at the clearing?" Naruto asked and Sume happened to hear. "Certainly Naru-kun. Here I will shunshin you all there and then you can leave to the academy afterwards," Sume told her godson, son, and their friends with a small happy smile. "Thanks," the group exclaimed making Sume chuckle at their enthusiasm. 3 seconds later, Sume and the 7 ninja-to-be students appeared in the clearing they all call Fox Falls. Sume then used a shunshin to go back and get ready for her small escort mission to Sume no Kuni, which requires a rare breed of dog going to a specialty breeder to get the population back up. Naruto then unsealed the leftover food and Ino and Hinata called the Fox family over by name while Choji, Shino, Kiba, and Shikamaru separated the food into equal amounts. Sabita-kun, the father fox, Tamai-chan, the mother fox, Hokori-kun, male kid, almost full grown, and Sapphire-chan, female kid, almost fully grown, come get your food. As Sabita and Tamai guided Hokori and Sapphire to the food, the group saw another pair of kitsune walking side by side with Hokori and Sapphire. Hokori shared his pile with the new female who they decided to call Nezu, and Sapphire shared her pile with the new male who they named Saripi. The group also pumped chakra into all the foxes as they ate to make them their own type of nin-kin and for Naruto's clan when he is older and restarts it. Naruto then pulled out chakra paper for each of his friends, Akamaru, and the elder Kitsune who had the most chakra already. The group was stunned that Naruto would share his chakra paper with them and were all excited to learn what their elements were. Kiba had Doden chakra, Hinata had Suiten chakra, Ino had Doden chakra with a small affinity to Suiten chakra, Shino had Raiden chakra, Choji had Kaden chakra with a small affinity towards Doden chakra, and Shikamaru had an affinity towards Kaden chakra. They were all amazed at the affinities they respectively had. Then the Ninkin surprised them also. Akamaru had Doden like Kiba and actually had a bit of Kaden from his parents. The elder Kitsune had Doden and Kaden, Sabita, and Suiten and Fuuten, Tamai. They all decided that they would work on their main affinities at the Inuzuka compound, where they could have easy help, after the academy and whenever they all had a chance. They all also decided to help the elder Kitsune learn some ways of using their chakra to protect their families, and eventually help protect Uzu when they moved them there. Of course only Naruto and the Sannin knew that it was going to happen right now. 45 minutes later, Naruto and company arrived at the academy and decided to check on the garden and harvest any herbs to drop off at Shizune's office before class. They were surprised that all their plants had to be harvested, and Shizune was amazed at all the herbs. Naruto, Hinata, and Ino then proceeded to seal away some of the plant seeds for later use. So are you guys ready for this troublesome exam? Shikamaru sighed. Yeah, but we all want to know something. Naruto, are you going to go all out this year? Everyone said, yeah, but Shino asked the rest. He was really coming out of his shell with the group. Yeah, I am going to make everyone go crazy. I am also going to make Sasuke and his fangirls complain too. Haha, Naruto said as everyone had a little laugh at his plans. Hey Iruka ni, are you ready for me to blow everyone away? Naruto exclaimed, getting a chuckle from Iruka. Haha, you bet Naruto. So are you all ready to take the last exam from me? Iruka asked with a small smile. You bet. We are going to surpass you in rank and we will teach you. Kiba called out, making everyone burst out laughing as they walked to their seats in the middle row. Eventually Sasuke walked in and took a window seat with Suiren right next to him, holding hands. Soon after, Sasuke's fangirls came storming in with Sakura leading them. Naruto and company all had earplugs in while Sasuke and Suiren couldn't wait to be away from them. Then the rest of the class came in, followed by Mizuki, who openly glared at Naruto, who stealthily flicked him off without Iruka noticing. Iruka passed out the paper test, which was an easy test for Naruto and company, Sasuke, Suiren, and Sakura. They all finished the test with still half an hour to sleep or read. Iruka collected the papers and dismissed the class for a break as he graded half the tests, namely the clan heirs and Naruto, while Mizuki graded Sakura's and the civilians' papers. Needless to say, the ninja family students all got perfects or just missed a perfect. Shikamaru actually tried and got a perfect with Shino, Naruto, Hinata and the Uchiha duo, while the others got one question wrong. Sakura got all right and the civilian students barely passed. The gang was at their garden tables sleeping or reading and just enjoying their time. Naruto studied his Fuinjutsu and figured he was able to unlock the next summoning scroll from his mother's clan. Iruka called them all back and told them that their next test would be shuriken and kunai throwing. All the civilians, minus Sakura, went and got a combined score of 10/20, which was barely enough to pass. Sakura got a 15/20, 8/10 on kunai and 7/10 on the shuriken, thanks to the practice she received from Mizuki and her uncle who helped her since she started the academy. The gang, except Naruto and Shikamaru, got 19/20. Naruto, Shikamaru, and the Uchiha duo all got perfect, but Naruto and Shikamaru one-upped the Uchiha. Shikamaru moved the targets back 12 extra feet while Naruto moved them back 12 more feet, 2 behind different objects, a tree and rock, and one was moving. Sasuke was seething as he saw the losers, in his mind, do better than him. Okay guys, for the last portion we are going to have a taijutsu tournament, but one of you guys will have to face Mizuki sensei and last at least 3 minutes or get multiple good hits on him to move up around. So who wants to take him on? Iruka informed the class, "I will, Iruka-sensei." Kiba calmly said as he knew that his training will help. "Okay Kiba, and you will be healed afterwards, and so will everyone else so they can do the best each round. Kiba, your match will be first, then the civilians, and then the ninja families." Iruka said. Kiba hopped into the ring with Akamaru by his side, followed by Mizuki who had a smirk on his face. Mizuki got ready and was thinking, well, at least I get to injure the demon's friend before I kill it. Kiba charged forward and threw a smoke bomb to confuse Mizuki. Kiba then dived under Mizuki and kicked him squarely in his manhood. Mizuki collapsed while Kiba and Akamaru charged in with a Gatsuga, which was one of the best taijutsu moves he learned from his mother so far. Kiba wins as he landed lots of good hits on Mizuki. Skip civilian fights. Naruto vs Shino. Naruto won after 10 minutes. Shikamaru vs Ino. Shikamaru won after 5 minutes. Suiren vs Hinata. Hinata barely won after 20 minutes. Sasuke vs Choji. Sasuke won after 5 minutes. Skip civilian second round. Naruto vs Kiba. Naruto won after 10 minutes. Shikamaru vs Hinata. Hinata won after 10 minutes. Sasuke vs civilian cannon fodder. Sasuke won in 3 minutes. Kunoichi finals. Hinata vs Sakura. Hinata activated her Byakugan and got ready in the basic stance for her new Juken style. Sakura was able to last 10 minutes by dodging until Hinata landed the first blow on her shoulder. Hinata then disabled Sakura's arm, causing Sakura to feel extreme pain but tried to continue. Sakura tried to sweep kick Hinata, who jumped over her leg and hit her on her hip joint, causing her legs to be disabled. Hinata then pulled out a kunai and held it at Sakura's throat until Sakura gave up. Winner. Hinata Hyuga. Shinobi Finals. Naruto Uzumaki vs Sasuke Uchiha. As they walked to the circle, the fangirls overly cheered for Sasuke while Naruto had some cheers from his group. Hajime. Iruka yelled. Naruto then released all of his weights in order to finish the match quicker as he wanted to go see Hana and unlock his new summoning scroll. Sasuke threw down 4 smoke bombs and charged forward. Naruto however jumped up into the sky and came down with his arm out to nail Sasuke across his shoulder and temporarily disable it, but couldn't as Sakura screeched for Sasuke to look out, causing Naruto to cover his sensitive ears from her banshee killing screams. Sasuke then charges forward and attempts to drop kick Naruto. The kick nails Naruto in his gut but only pushes him back a bit as Sasuke doesn't have close to the same amount of muscle mass as Naruto does. Naruto grabs Sasuke's leg and throws him high into the air. Naruto jumps up and punches Sasuke in the gut, causing him to spit up a little bit of blood. Naruto then pushes Sasuke down before him and lands on top of him, making a Sasuke-shaped crater. All the fangirls were shrieking as Naruto slowly stood above and knocked out Sasuke. Naruto then fell to the ground from the shrieking as Iruka named him the winner. Minus 15 minutes later, Naruto woke back up with Ino cradling his head in the classroom. Iruka, noticing Naruto now being awake, decides to move on to the jutsu portion of the test. Okay class, now I need you all to come into the back room one at a time, alphabetically, and perform henge, kawarimi, and a bunshin. Okay Shino, you are first. For the next hour the class slowly went through and got the jutsu down. The only ones left are Naruto, and Ino as Suiren is currently in the back room. Naruto then enters the room as Suiren left. Naruto threw a smoke bomb and walked in with a henge on, looking like Itachi Uchiha. Mizuki fell for it while Iruka was impressed. Itachi-san, what are you doing here? Mizuki questioned, worried that he is coming to arrest him for being a soon-to-be traitor. Iruka couldn't help but chuckle at his co-teacher's stupidity. It's me, Naruto. Naruto said as he dispelled the jutsu. Amazing Naruto, now do a kawarimi please. Iruka ordered. Sure thing Iruka-sensei. Naruto said as he switched places with Mizuki as he was leaning back, causing the idiot teacher to fall backwards and then be splayed across his chair as Naruto switched back. Naruto then made a cross and preformed the cage bunshin and then had each clone make a normal bunshin. Congrats Naruto, you pass, Iruka said, proud for his little brother figure. How about I take you and your friends to the Akamichi barbecue restaurant that also now serves special ramen? Iruka asked. Sure thing, just after I activate Gigi's seal. Naruto said while Iruka knew what he was talking about. What seal, Naruto? Mizuki asked while thinking, what is this damn demon talking about? It already sucks that I can't frame me stealing the forbidden scroll on him. Mizuki thought, not knowing that his thoughts were being projected, and Kakashi and Itachi put chakra suppression seals on him and took him to Ibiki. Well, at least that fool is taken care of. Naruto sighed. Yeah, now let's go see the rest of the class, and here is your headband. Iruka said, giving Naruto a leaf headband with red cloth that had black Uzumaki swirls, blue Senju tridents, and purple Namikaze waves at the end. There were also some kitsune on the side of the medal. Sweet. Thanks Iruka ni. Naruto exclaimed. Naruto and Iruka walked out and everyone stared at Naruto's headband thinking how unique it was, and the fangirls thought it was lame. Okay class, you have 1 week off until you need to come back and meet your Jonin sensei. I will also announce Shinobi and Kunoichi of the year then also. Iruka said. Half an hour later, everyone was at the Akamichi barbecue restaurant with Iruka and Shizune. Choji, Naruto, and Kiba were having an eating competition, which Naruto and Choji tied and Kiba lost. Then Ino and Hinata convinced Naruto and Kiba to have a sniff-off for different types of food as a joke, which Kiba won by 1 point. Then Hana showed up with the Haimaru triplets who tackled Naruto, licking him like crazy while Ino and Hana laughed at the actions. Hana, Ino, and Hinata then convinced the DJ to play a song that they can dance to. Hinata grabbed Kiba and Naruto made a clone for Ino as he danced with Hana. Shino, Shikamaru, and Choji sat to the side talking to 3 girls from their clans. Shino was talking to a girl from his clan who was his age but wanted to help raise the Kakaichu bugs, so she only had basic ninja skills. Her name is Aki Aburame. Choji was talking to a Nara girl who helps with the Nara bookstore named Natsu Nara. Shikamaru was talking to an Akamichi girl who was the skinniest Akamichi girl and one of their best chefs. Her name is Suki Akamichi. -1 week later, Naruto and the gang were waiting for class to start and were talking about what teams they hoped to be on. Iruka walked in with the rest of the class and got everyone ready to tell the teams. Okay, before I announce the teams, I will announce the Shinobi and Kunoichi of the year. The Shinobi of the year is Naruto Uzumaki and the Kunoichi of the year is Hinata Hyuga. After Iruka announced that there were shouts of denial from the fan clubs of Sasuke Uchiha. Iruka couldn't talk until all the shouts died down. Okay, now on to teams. Team 1 is. Team 7 is Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Sai. Your Jonin sensei is Kakashi Hitaki. Team 8 is Shino Aburame, Kiba Inuzuka, and Yakumo under Kurenai Yuhi. Team 9 is still in rotation from last year. Team 10 is Suirin Uchiha, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akamichi under Asuma Sarutobi. Before Iruka could continue, he was cut off by 3 people. Iruka Sensei, who is this Sai Baka that is on mine and Sasuke-kun's team. He will probably just slow Sasuke-kun down and thus slow me down also. The pink hair banshee yelled. Why isn't Hinata-chan on mine and Shino's team? Kiba exclaimed in shock and sadness. Iruka Sensei, why am I not on a team? Ino asked, worried that something happened and she wasn't going to be on a team. Naruto just smiled at his 2 friends' reactions, and couldn't care less about Sakura. Well, Sakura, Sai is a boy your age that is from the Anbu division called Root and is going to be on your team to readjust to normal lives and gain back his emotions. He will show up with your sensei. Kiba, Hinata is actually being apprenticed by Shizune-chan to be a medic and will actually still train with Team 8 for taijutsu, normal ninjutsu, genjutsu and other things. But Shizune-chan will help teach her more in-depth things in medical ninjutsu. Ino, you are also apprenticed, under Tsunade-sama along with Hana Inuzuka, as you two have some of the best potential talent for medical ninjutsu that can leave, as Hinata is the Hyuga heiress and she doesn't want to leave the village as often as you two. Naruto, you already know who your teacher is, so why are you here? So I can take Ino-chan to the clearing so we can meet Tsunade-ba-chan and Jiraiya Jiji. Shizune-chan said she would be here when Kurenai-chan gets here. Also Kiba and Shino, I need you to promise me that you will protect Kurenai-chan and Yakumo-ne-chan. Sure thing Naruto ni, Kiba said to his best friend and older brother figure while Shino nodded his affirmative and Iruka nodded at the answer to his question. Well, got to go, Naruto exclaimed as he picked up Ino bridal style and used a sweetened food in Shunshin. It had streaks of water and wind going through it, and he only knows that because of the two summoning contracts. -1 second later, Naruto appeared holding Ino bridal style in the clearing. Naruto and Ino were met there by Hana Inuzuka, who had the Haimaru triplets, who gave Naruto a tongue bath and then licked Ino as a welcome. "Hey Hana-chan," Naruto said as he got up and kissed Hana's cheek. "Hey Naru-kun," Hana said as she kissed Naruto back but on the lips. "Hey, while we wait for Ba-chan and Gigi, why don't I try to unlock my next summoning scroll?" Naruto offered. "Sure Naruto-kun, but while you go through the boring Fuinjutsu stuff, Hana and I will play with the Kitsune and the triplets." "Yeah, just call us over when you unlock it. Oh yeah, there are also 3 new Kitsune. All 3 are vixens who I named Kyureki, Taiyoko, and Daya. Kyureki and Tsutomu get along really well, while Taiyoko and Reiza get along really well also. And as you can guess, Daya seems to like Kometo," Hana said while walking over to where her nin-kin were playing with the Kitsune. Ino followed her as they soon started talking about who knows what. Naruto, on the other hand, was concentrating like crazy on the specific seal design needed to unlock the next scroll. After 10 minutes, Naruto finally got it and quickly signed his name, while Book and Supai, who were already there from when they fed the Kitsune, summoned their bosses, Gamabunta and Mario Shinjun, to watch the new summoning. "Kachiyose no Jutsu," Naruto exclaimed. "Raw? Who the hell summoned me?" bellowed the giant beast through the smoke. When the smoke cleared, Naruto saw a huge midnight black badger with a bright white strip down the middle and a scare on its jaw. "I did, Badger-sama," Naruto said calmly. "So the Uzumaki do truly live. Haha, what great news. Young Uzumaki, just call me Daiton," bellowed the now named Daiton. "2 things for me to tell you. Since you summoned me, you will get some changes from my clan, and the Gamma and Walrus clans, to signify you as our summoner. Second, use a little bit of chakra to find your familiar," Daiton said in a regal tone. "Okay Daiton-sama. Oh, and just call me Naruto. Kachiyose no Jutsu," Naruto exclaimed, summoning a medium-sized badger with russet brown fur and a forest green stripe down the middle with 4 horizontal silver stripes intersecting the green stripe. "Daiton-sama, was it you who summoned me here?" asked the young badger. "No, it was young Naruto-kun who summoned you. You and he are now partners, Hako," came the regal reply from Daiton. "Sure thing Daiton-sama. Hello, Naruto," said Hako. "Hello Hako. So what are your specialties?" Naruto asked. "My specialties are Doden Jutsu and close combat utilizing my claws and fangs," Hako replied. "Awesome. So we have a close combat and Doden user, a Kenjutsu and Suiden user who can work long range with Suiden Jutsu, a healer and Suiden user, and a long range to close range Suiden and Raiden user who can dive deep. Both the healer and the deep diver also have a touch of Kaden to help take care of others and staying safe." "Now onto the changes," bellowed all 3 of the bosses. "And don't worry, your other summons will be able to apply changes to." "Okay, Ak," Naruto said before the changes started. Hana and Ino watched the whole thing and were about to run to Naruto's side when his familiars stopped them, saying this has to happen. From the badger summons, Naruto's nails grew into small claws that he could extend up to 8 inches at will. He also gained night vision from the badgers. From the Gamma summons, Naruto gained the ability to breathe through his skin when needed, and his feet became slightly webbed, but not too much. It was barely noticeable unless you went out of your way to look. And lastly, from the Seiuchi summons, Naruto's canines grew into small tusks, elongated canines that didn't get in the way of anything, and his lungs grew to hold 5 times the capacity that it could currently hold. Naruto also gained markings on his cheeks like Jiraiya, but they curved and made some swirls, vertical stripes on his back, and Inuzuka-like markings on his lower arms. The bosses and familiars soon went back to their summon realms. It has been 2 weeks since Naruto and the group returned from their trip. Naruto and Ino worked with Hinata now as Hana went back to her Chunin team so they could do missions together. Hana also became a field-promoted Jonin due to her killing of a high Jonin level ninja on one of her team's missions. Naruto, Ino, and Hinata have been doing run-of-the-mill D ranks, with Naruto and Ino doing some C ranks. Currently they are doing something akin to an A- rank or S rank. They were going to get Hinata to have her first kill, along with Anko's help of course. Now Hinata has no clue what they are planning, so she is not nervous at the moment. They were currently walking to the T&I headquarters where Anko was waiting with Ibiki. "Come on Hinata Imoto," Naruto said as he was slightly impatient. "Calm down Naru-kun," Ino scolded her boyfriend as she walked slowly with Hinata. "So Hinata-chan, are you and Kiba a couple yet?" Ino asked, trying to get some juicy gossip and some dirt on the two as they are almost always together. "I don't know what you are talking about," Hinata tried to say calmly, but her nervousness showed through twice. "I can't let anyone know yet. Kiba-kun and I decided we would announce it at the clearing after his mission he just got today." "Fine then, spoil sport, I'll wait until he gets back and trick him into telling me." "Alright you two, we are here. Ibiki ni, Anko-chan, come on and let us in." Naruto called through the speaker seals he placed in there, well in the safe areas. Suddenly the doors opened by themselves, which freaked Hinata out. "What are we doing here again?" Hinata asked nervously. "Just wait Hina Imoto. What the hell are you going to do to me now you stupid fuckers?" Came an eerily familiar voice from around the corner and the group could only see Ibiki and Anko. "We aren't going to do anything, they are," came the calm, gruff voice of Ibiki as Naruto, Ino, and Hinata walked forward. "Ha, like the Kyuubi Gaki can do anything. I'll just be a martyr when the people find out it was him who killed me." Mizuki taunted when he saw them. "Oh, a Yamanaka and Hyuga too? Maybe when I get freed thanks to the civilian council and elders I will let you two live and be my slaves." Mizuki cackled. "Over my dead body Mizuki Teme," Naruto said as some of Yuka's chakra went through his body and concentrated into his elongated nails, which he then slashed across Mizuki's face, causing some bad bleeding which was then healed by a seal on his body. "See, they are even keeping me healed. All I have is a slight scar." Mizuki taunted again. "Hinata, this is a B rank to A rank mission for you. It is to kill Mizuki and it is only so high since it is your first kill. Now the question is, do you want to see the life leave his eyes or not?" Naruto asked in a very serious manner as Anko and Ino blocked her escape route. I don't KNKN no. I don't think I can KKK kill my ex-sensei." Hinata stuttered very fearfully. "Hina Imoto, you have to do this. This way you won't freeze up on the battlefield and so you learn that yesterday's allies could be tomorrow's enemies." Fine. Hinata said as she steeled her nerves, but not answering the question about his eyes. "Wait 1 second though Hinata, you also have to torture him so you can gain some skills in that also." Fine. Naruto walked up and said he had a favor to return first and that he wanted to test something. Naruto elongated his claws and alerted Ino and Hinata to look away. Naruto then placed his claws around Mizuki's right eye, just on the edge of the socket. What are you doing?" Mizuki asked fearfully. "You'll see, partially." Squelch Naruto's claws went into Mizuki's eye socket and tore out his right eye. "My eye, you fucking demon. You removed my eye," Mizuki screamed in agony. It didn't help that his eye regrew cause of the hidden seal on his body. Seals spread over his body and were healing him before retreating. "Since that healed your eye, I guess it heals every wound and would just take longer to heal your brain completely. Interesting, and that means we can use you to train new ninjas in how to torture and kill. That way we will have battle-hardened ninja whenever we need, and it will also give me more time to find the seal so I can apply it to other traitors, so when you die of old age we will have more to take your place." Naruto said, so low that only Mizuki and Ibiki could hear, but only slightly. Mizuki shivered at that thought while Ibiki chuckled at his little brother's, in all but blood, thought. Once Mizuki's eye was fully regrown and operational, he was able to fully witness Naruto squishing and shredding his eye. "Anko-chan, Ino-chan, I need you two to take Hinata-chan outside for right now. Ibiki and I need to have a personal chat with Mizuki," Naruto said as he slowly dragged a sharp claw down Mizuki's face. "Sure thing Naruto-kun," Anko said as she took the two female genin outside. With them gone, Naruto then pulled out a scroll labeled Torture and Interrogation, which surprised Ibiki. "Naru Ototo, why do you have that with you? I thought you were sending that you know where. I made a copy of everything, kind of helps when you sent 4 of everything. This only has 1 of everything though, but I put repair seals on them all." Naruto then unsealed a curvy dagger. The dagger was coated in a poison that increases pain and makes the person delirious after an hour. Naruto then put the dagger into Mizuki's left pectoral and dragged it over to the right. Then Naruto dragged it down to the bottom of the ribcage, over to the other side and back to the left pectoral. Naruto then cut a 9 in the inside of the box and broke all 4 of his limbs. Mizuki then felt a searing pain in his groin and screamed at the top of his lungs for 5 minutes. The cause of the pain was a contraption Ibiki made that chews through whatever it is attached to at a set speed. This one just so happened to be on the tip of his manhood and going at an agonizingly slow speed. Soon enough, though, it reached his family jewels and ground them to dust before Ibiki ripped it off of him with a 2-foot-long clamp, tearing off lots of skin. Naruto then took 2 more daggers that could be bought at any ninja store for like 1 ryo and shoved one into Mizuki's ass with a 4-foot clamp and into his manhood with another 4-foot clamp. Mizuki promptly passed out, but not before hearing Naruto and Ibiki say something together. "Don't threaten or mess with those we care about. And that was also for beating me, Naru Ototo, up on the Kyuubi festival after you became a Chunin." 1 hour later, Mizuki was now awake with scars all over and a weird feeling of constantly being cut in his private regions whenever he moved the lower half of his body. However, there was no time for him to contemplate this as the group walked in. Hinata walked forward with a serrated knife and activated her Byakugan. "Naruto ni, the seal is on the heel of his left foot." Hinata told him so he could then study it. Hinata then raised the serrated knife to Mizuki's face and slashed him right above his eyes. "I was old what you did to Naruto ni, so I no longer have a problem with torture and practice killing," Hinata said coldly as she was furious. She then turned the stand Mizuki was strapped onto horizontally so it would act like a table. "If your organs regrow, we could use you for organ harvesting also and save many lives, just not your heart right now," Hinata said in an emotionless, calculative, and scientific voice. Hinata then pushed the knife into the skin at the base of the ribcage and cut him open slowly. Hinata then took out a special scroll that instantly absorbs any organs placed on it. Hinata then proceeded to remove the stomach, which regrew in half a minute. Then she took out his intestines, gallbladder, kidneys, and pancreas, which all grew back in a minute or so. Hinata then allowed the open area to seal itself shut as she cut open the area above the right lung open, which included removing ribs, and carefully took out both lungs, which quickly grew back because of their necessity. Hinata also allowed that wound to heal, and once it did, she stabbed all 4 of his limbs multiple times and cut off all of his fingers and toes, which sadly grew back. Hinata then cut Mizuki's jugular and slightly nipped his heart, which caused him to slowly bleed out. Then his heart was fixed in 3 seconds while she kept the jugular open until he bled out 98% and then let it heal. When it healed, he lost 99% of his blood and looked deathly pale. Then he screamed in agony as his body sped up the blood-making process 200-fold. -3 minutes later at the clearing, Hinata was on the ground mumbling and crying. "Iwou would have killed hmi if I had wa wasn't for that seal." Hinata got out in between sobs. She knew she had to do it, but she still couldn't help but feel bad at the possibility of having killed someone. Naruto and Ino were both comforting her and brought her huge plates of cinnamon rolls that Naruto had sealed away for when this happened. After 3 hours of crying and comforting, the trio went to the Hokage to tell him their missions were done. He gave Hinata the week off to get herself over the fact about what she did in a card for as much cinnamon rolls an A-rank mission could buy, but he got the scroll before she left. To say he was amazed would be an understatement. He quickly had Anbu take them to the hospital with a note explaining what happened for Tsunade and Shizune. Naruto and Ino both got paid for a B-rank mission, and Naruto received the last of his bounty from Iwa, which was actually 300,000 ryo and a scroll containing 2 million crystals, diamonds, pearls, garnets, sapphires, rubies, grandidorite, and benitoite, from the Chitin family mine in Iwa, which were promptly sent to the Namikaze compound's hidden safe that only opens to Namikaze, Senju, Uzumaki blood. Naruto, though, donated 9 of every gem to the village to make a special ornament for the founding festival. The ornament would look like a glittering tree with flames around it. Naruto also sent some to Suna for Sango and Kyuzo, who sent a letter back after 2 weeks saying they are going to make more with their absorption abilities to provide wealth for the Uzumaki clan, Suna, and poor peasant everywhere. Naruto then opened a seal on one of their letters and was amazed to see 18 of each jewel, and they were all the size of Jiraiya's hair. The day after Kiba left and Hinata practiced killing Mizuki. Gigi-sama, what do you need us for? Asked a sleepy blonde as he stood next to Hana and Ino. Well, I need you three to go and help Kakashi-kun's team. They ran into the demon brothers, Maizu and Guzu. Thankfully they are still alive and are actually returned to Uzu by one of Kakashi's summoned dogs. So they did join Uzu with Zabuza. Naruto said as he realized that they usually worked with the demon of the bloody mist. What do you mean Hokage-sama, Naru-kun? Ino and Hana asked. Here is and then went through 2 sets of hand signs. After the second one, a folder with the title project. Uzu appeared and the 2 kunoichi quickly read it. Is this true? Naruto's Ka is rebuilding the destroyed village? Asked Hana as she was the only one of the 2 that knew she was alive. Ino was just soaking up the information. Hi Hana-chan, she is. Now you 2 must swear to never reveal this to anyone, let alone talk about it. If you do, then the penalty is death, no matter what Naruto does to protect you. Hiruzen said in a calm, yet icy tone. Hi, Hokage-sama, replied the kunoichi. Hana, you are in charge, but when you team up with Kakashi it will be a joint leadership. Hi, Hokage-sama. -3 hours later, Naruto, Hana, and Ino all arrived at the dock and spotted Kakashi and his team with an injured Kiba. They quickly ran over to the group where Hana handed Kakashi the scroll while Naruto and Ino healed Kiba. Okay, team, this is now a joint mission with the apprentices. Kakashi informed his team after reading the scroll. So what has happened and why is Kiba with you? Hana asked. Well, the demon brothers appeared and before I could talk to them Sasuke decides to fight them, so I signed to them to attack me and I switch with a log so I can see what happens. My team only won because of Kiba releasing all the seals on him and that the demon brothers were not going all out on him. Kiba is here because the Hokage decided we could use a good tracker and Kurenai's team couldn't come since Kurenai had to stay back for Hinata. Kakashi whispered. Kachiyose no jutsu. Came 2 yells as Supai and another walrus named Sukiwa appeared. Sukiwa's colors are the reverse of Supai's. Once Kiba regained consciousness, the group held a meeting. Okay, before anyone says anything, Hana-san and I are in charge. First off, we are going to need one group to go ahead of the rest and the rest goes on a boat. Secondly, be ready because we will most likely run into some Nuke Nin and common gang members. Kakashi told the group. Dobi, give me the walrus since we need the strongest to go ahead. Kakashi can take Ino's too. That way the strongest 2 are in the front and we will have a better chance. Yeah, you heard him, Naruto Baka. Sakura yelled, only to fall limp as Ino hit her in a pressure point. Well, Teme, since you put it so very nicely, hell fucking no. They are not tools, they are partners from my clan's personal summons. They will never accept you and I will never let you use them. Naruto said as he leaked some killer intent and let his canines grow and his claws extend slightly. If they're your clan's personal summons, then your clan must have been lame. After all, you are the last one and no one cares for the Uzumaki like they do Uchiha. Sasuke said smugly as he quickly pushed past Naruto and went to touch Supai. Supai then spat out an acidic water ball which enveloped the Uchiha's hand, causing him to scream in pain. Naruto and Ino walked over to the water's edge and hopped on the backs of their respective walrus and went ahead of the group. Sai just watched everything unfold, not really caring what happens. Kiba on the other hand kicked Sasuke in the side as he walked to the boat with their client, Tazuna. Kakashi and Hana saw the whole thing but didn't care, and Hana cast a genjutsu onto the Uchiha to knock him out and then drag him onto the boat. -2 hours later, Naruto and Ino arrived on the shore of Nami no Kuni and were slightly surprised when the demon brothers arrived before them and bowed to Naruto. Naruto-sama, we are here to inform you of what is going on as Zabuza-sama and Haku-kun and Jade-chan are hiding up ahead. You see, we are on a double-cross mission. Kushina-sama sent us on a covert mission to kill Gato, who basically took over while pretending to do a mission for him. He wants us to kill the bridge builder, but we are instead going to hide him and make a fake to bring to him. Then we would kill Gato and bring the bridge builder back. But since Kakashi-san and you are here, we need to fake fight you all. We won't appear since we were supposed to have been taken care of already. Maizu said. Okay, thanks for your report, Maizu. Now I want you both to make a sweetened bunchin and have them give Zabuza this scroll while you two return to Uzu and help my Ka-chan fix it up some more, and give her this too. Naruto ordered while handing their clones the scroll for Zabuza and then the scroll for Kushina. Soon after the brothers left, the boat arrived with the others. Sasuke and Sakura were furious and wanted to attack Naruto and Ino. However, they were under orders not to do anything because their earlier interaction is already in the mission report, which Kakashi writes in every night, so it is as exact as possible. They both scowled at the blonde duo while the walrus duo went back to their summon realm. "So Tazuna-san, how far to your house?" Hana asked. "Not too far, maybe about another 4 to 6 hours if we take a break every hour," Tazuna said without a drunken slur. Team 7 was amazed by how polite he seems when he isn't drunk. "You heard him, so let's go," Kiba yelled as Sakura walked towards Hai and punched him. "Shut up, you baka, no one wants to hear your mutt voice," Sakura screeched. Sakura then pissed herself as Naruto's staff appeared by her neck and the edge was growing sharper. Naruto learned that he can manipulate his staff with his chakra after talking to Yuka and Minato and lots of training. "Kami, that's disgusting," Naruto said. "In heaven, I know, right?" Kami said. "Yami, why the hell did you give that family life after I killed them off? I mean, now they're even worse, 2 personas and screeching. And thank me that the family I blessed will live on with Shinigami Ne-chan and Susanoo-kun's family." Kami yelled at her brother and thought to herself, "I didn't know that would happen. I also didn't know the damn idiot would encourage inbreeding in his family. Damn, I regret forming that damn family. Thankfully they should all die out in the next century, otherwise I have to go to Earth and live a mortal life. Fuck. The other family will still live with that damn CRA and both the good and bad side will live. Shit, this will suck," Yami said as he sat in the corner upset. "At least our heir is doing perfectly fine. Now if only we could tell him to kill that banshee," Shinigami said to her spouse, Susanoo, who nodded in agreement. Back on Earth, the Uchiha family, Haruno family, and Naruto all sneezed. Back to the mission. Tazuna was walking towards his house with Sasuke to his right, Sakura and Sai to his left, Kiba and Naruto in the front, Ino beside him, and Kakashi and Hana behind him. "How much longer, Tazuna-san?" Ino asked. "A few more minutes, I believe," Tazuna said, perfectly sober from Ino destroying all his sake that he tries to drink. "Okay, good. I was getting bored from this and now Naruto-kun, Hana-chan, and I can help the people of Nami," Ino said with a small smile as she thought about helping lots of people. "Yeah, I just hope my get down now," Naruto said, only to interrupt himself as a huge sword was sent flying at them. Everyone dived for the ground and the sword slammed into a tree and embedded itself extremely deep into the tree. It nearly cut it in half and soon after Zabuza appeared on the handle. "Well, Sharingan Kakashi, they sent you? Did Konoha know I would be here or something? And you have a Genin squad and an experienced Chunin almost Jonin? Guess they didn't know and I got lucky," Zabuza said while on the blade with his arms crossed. Who would have guessed the Demon Brothers boss would actually be on a mission with them? "Damn, I don't want to reveal my Sharingan yet, but fine," Kakashi said in a bored tone, finally putting his book away. "Okay, you can stop playing now. Sasuke, Sakura, and Sai are under a genjutsu and paralysis seals, same with Tazuna. Hana has already informed Kiba. Haku, Yuki, come out here and show yourself," Naruto said. "Hi." Haku then appeared with his fake Hunter Nin mask off and Jade appeared by his side also. "Oh Jade-chan, I didn't sense you. You must have superb chakra control," Naruto praised. Well, Naruto-sama, I have been practicing a lot and Kushina-sama has also been helping me. She said after this mission I will be her apprentice and we will all get to wear our new Uzu headbands," Jade said with a calm, sweet voice. "Well, did you 3 get my scroll?" Naruto asked, getting to the point. "Hi Naruto-sama, we understand we will have to fake fight in a week's time and then we get to kill Gato and free this country. Jade and Haku informed Naruto-sama on your guys' side job," Zabuza ordered. "Hi. Well, Jade-chan and I have been scouting out possible ninjas to join or kids to train. Nami has no good candidates due to their condition, but we have found a few in Mizu no Kuni who we will collect when the time is right. For now they have scrolls to practice and most have joined a group called the Rebels who are fighting against, or were fighting, against the current Mizukage. They are also joining Uzu once it is rebuilt," Haku and Jade said, switching at every other sentence. "Amazing. Now Jade, I don't want you showing yourself unless you have to," Stay in the shadows and keep your chakra hidden. Haku, I knew you would be here, so you will need to show yourself when we fight in 1 week. Also, whoever deals the killing blow to Gato on the bridge, which this mission has to help finish, will get a reward. And stop calling me Sama, damn it. I am not a leader and I am not special, just call me San, or Kun, or Ni, just not Sama. Sure thing Gaki, Zabuza said with a genuine smile that barely showed. Hi Naruto, Ni, Kun, Haku and Jade said respectively with a polite bow before they left with Zabuza, who had to be injured to make it look like they actually fought. Minus 10 minutes later, knock, knock, knock. Naruto, supporting a barely awake Tazuna, knocks on the door to Tazuna's house with Kakashi carrying Sai, Hana carrying Sakura, and Kiba dragging Sasuke. Tsunami quickly answered the door and gasped seeing her father like that. T2-san, what happened? I kind of passed out, Tsunami-chan. Tazuna said meek fully. Excuse me Tsunami-chan, but can we please come in? Also, is there any room for our team members? Naruto asked. Sure thing Ninja-san. Just call me Naruto. This is Kakashi ni Sensei, Ino-chan, Hana-chan, Kiba Ototo, and the others. Well, come on in Naruto-san. As the group entered, Naruto set Tazuna down on a chair and sat on the couch where Hana and Kiba joined him after they dropped off their packages to the specific rooms and Ino was already on his lap. Kakashi just set Sai down in the corner and pulled out his Icha which he changed into sexy notes and pictures from his girlfriend Suikazura Sukiakara. 5 minutes later Tsunami comes in with a pot of tea and the incompetent ninjas upstairs reappear. Ino and Hana were both on Naruto's lap looking at a medical scroll Naruto got recently from Tsunade. Kiba was reading a scroll on using chakra to increase senses, improve natural weapons, like claw nails or fangs, and how to store chakra in certain parts of the human body. What the hell is going on here? Who the hell touched me to bring me here? Sasuke demanded angrily. Sadly, I had to drag you here, Uchiha. Kiba replied in a disgusted tone with the smell of soap wafting off of his hands. How dare you fucking touch me, mutt? Sasuke roared as he charged at Kiba for somehow ruining his pride. Kiba dodges and places a chakra suppression seal on him, in the small of his back where he couldn't reach it. Sasuke tried to do a jutsu only for nothing to happen. Why can't I do jutsu? What did you do to me? Sasuke asked, demanded. Sasuke, shut the hell up. This is your final warning. Any more outbursts and I will temporarily paralyze and mute you until we get back to Konoha and I will report to the Hokage about your actions. Kakashi scolded, fed up with his arrogant student. Fine, just take these damn seals off me. Not unless we are training, which we will when Sakura wakes up. I'm up, let's go so Sasuke-kun can get stronger than Naruto Baka and Kiba Baka while I get stronger than Ino Pig Baka. Came a reply from the stairs courtesy of the pink-haired Banshee. Okay fine, we will split into 2 groups for right now. Hana and Sai will be group 1 and will protect Tazuna-san while on the bridge. Group 2, the training group, will be Naruto, Ino, Kiba, Sasuke, Sakura, and me as the teacher. Hi, was the reply from the full group as Sai was apparently awake for the orders. Minus 3 minutes later, Kakashi took the genin to a clearing not too far from Tazuna's house so they could still make it back after their training. Okay genin, you will be performing the tree climbing exercise to gain better control over your chakra and bigger reserves. If you master this quickly, do it 10 more times after you make it to the top and then combine the leaf floating exercise. Kakashi said before he walked up the tree and back down and then grabbed some leaves and stuck them to himself as he walked up and down the tree. That has got to be impossibly hard, sensei. Sakura said in her quitting voice. Practice, I will be back in about 4 hours, it is noon now so get to it. Kakashi said as he left a kunai for Sakura, Sasuke, and Kiba to use to mark how high they make it. Naruto walked to the edge of the clearing and discreetly made 30 clones, his new minimum training amount. Okay, 10 of you practice leaf floating and tree walking, 5 practice medical chakra control, 3 practice forging, 2 practice seals, another 2 meditate, 1 go to the bridge and summon more of you to help out, and the last 7 practice all of our jutsu. Dispel one by one when you get low on chakra. Meditation will probably dispel last as they are just focusing on accessing more chakra while the jutsu practicing will dispel first. Fuinjutsu and Forging Dispel after the Jutsu users and Controlled Dispel before the Meditation group. Bridge Builder Group, dispel one member after every group dispels and then make more by calling on my chakra. I will entertain the Teme and stay here to rub my awesomeness in his face. Naruto ordered his clones. His clones promptly left while the ones practicing chakra control joined up with a smaller group of Ino's clones. Kiba could only make one as Hana put him through hell to get his reserves up. Kiba's one clone was also working with Naruto's and Ino's who were giving him tips so Sasuke and Sakura wouldn't hear the hints. Naruto then grabs 9 leaves and places them all over his body and makes them circle around his body while walking up and down the tree 10 times and then adding more leaves. Ino walks up and down 10 times and then adds leaves. Kiba slowly walks up and down and slowly got the hang of it by the time the 4 hours were up. Sakura got it easily but never added any leaves. She just walked up and down and helped Sasuke. Sasuke slowly started to get the hang of it but only got 3/4 of the way up before the 4 hours were up. 2 hours into the training and Naruto doubled his amount of clones and stopped his tree walking. Ino stopped her tree walking as well and made 2 more clones to make up for it. Kiba however was stuck with Sakura and Sasuke as they continued to train.
That's it for today's episode. The next part will be coming very soon. So make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss it. And hey, what do you think about the new way of exploring the story? Let me know your thought in the comment below. I'm reading every single one. Until then, take care and stay tuned.